What is going on, guys? How is everybody doing tonight? Sunday Night Football on the docket. How's everyone doing? Hello, football fans. What's going on, Jackson? Just catching up on the couple messages in the Discord while I was setting this up. Just opened up YouTube. Perfect timing. What's going on, Jake? The champ is in the building. How'd everybody do today? I know it was a successful day. I think everyone was positive in the Discord today. Item, you made 40 units today? How did you make 40 units? Ernest, let's go Bears. I'll be cheering on the Bears tonight. I'm not going to be making a bet, but I'll be cheering on the Bears. What's going on, Ryan? I did not bet on the Raiders. Jackson's 5-1, up 5 units. Whew. That's real good. Item, I want to know how you even... I took a crazy amount of risk. I'm playing with all house money. Who are you risking it on? Hell yeah. What's going on, Donnie? Or Tony Meatballs, as you've got it listed now. Ernest, you're on Bears +9. That's a nice line to have. Oh, Ryan, you lost the Giants spread. That's too bad. I was on the Bengals today as a contrarian play. It seemed like everybody really liked the Giants. You took risk on the Falcons? Oh my goodness, Item. Well, congrats. I'm happy for you. And a Giants-Browns Moneyline parlay. Whew. Well, good job. Saints -16 was an easy play. I was on the Broncos +17. That was my only loss today. Yeah, I don't blame you, Jackson. At -120, it's just not worth it. Hello, football fans. What's going on, Untouchable? Do I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to throw for 300? I do not think he's going to throw for 300 yards. What's going on, Mickey? The fat guy's on his way. He'll be here soon. Chiefs. Jamie, you must be excited. Another win. I know they were road favorites, but like it's still impressive to be able to get the W on the road. Tampa Bay's not an easy team to play. Did I take the Bears? I didn't take anything for this game. I'm just leaving this game alone. Let me just quickly check the market factors. I'll just pull it up here for you guys so you guys can see too. So right now, 57% of bettors are on the Packers, -7.5. 54% of the dollars wagered on the Packers. So it's very, very even play as far as the spread goes. It looks like a lot of people are on the over 43.5. At Pinnacle, it's at 45, though. The under at Pinnacle at 45 is -111. So there might be a little bit of value on the OU taking the under, but that's a game I'm going to be leaving alone. I'm just not going to make a bet. Cheetah is a freak. Tyreek Hill is awesome. Yeah, I never trust anything I say about over-unders because I'm always going to lean towards an under. And the line did move at whatever book this is. Bet MGM New Jersey has the line at 43.5 for some reason. This is Action Network, Jamie. ActionNetwork.com. It's a paid for subscription, but this is how I get some of that information I have. What's going on, Mudhole? Good evening.
Saying the same thing. First saying the same thing.
So the story with my betting is I started the season with $60 and now I'm sitting at over 1900, so I kind of have nothing to lose. See, item, this is interesting, and I wish the fat guy was here because him and I would argue that there's no such thing as house money. Once you've won that, like once you've made that money's yours. It doesn't matter if you started with 60, if you started with 1900, like every bet that you make, you can't think of like there's nothing to lose because like you earn that 19 or that 1840. So treat that 1900 like you're starting today with a brand new bankroll. And then a 1% bet now with your 1900 is $20 instead of the 6 it used to be, or 60 cents technically. So never think, like for bankroll management, never think of nothing to lose, because if you just keep doing what you're doing, like if you just like double up, you're eventually going to lose, and then you're going to have zero. So now that you're at 1900, like reset yourself, because that's awesome. Congrats, man. I'm so happy for you. It's very rare that someone can take 60 and turn it into 1900. Like that's very, very rare. So now reset yourself. Say that you're, let's just bump you up 100. Set your bankroll at 2000 and then make your units $20 as you go forward. Well, part of it, item, is it's not even just being on the right side of things. It's really about managing your bankroll, because like the last few weeks we've done really well. All of us have done really well, but that doesn't mean the next week is going to be just as good. So if next week we make 6 bets and we go 1-5, I'd rather you lose 5%, so like $100, rather than $1,200 because you're betting, $300 on a game. Jackson's, you said that you're going to stay away from the OU. Your book has it at 44.5 at -20 on both sides. I'm just going to be a fan tonight. Yeah, I'm with you, Jackson. That's what I'm doing as well. Mike J's on Packers 28-17. So what's that? What's that total wise? 45. So that's pretty close. And then you've got the Packers spread, because I think they're anywhere from like 7.5 to 8.5. I actually haven't been following this spread that closely today, so let me take a look at it. That is definitely a rainbow that you see near the top of the Week 12 leaderboard. Dylan is actually tied for second, and he is only 1 win back of Cassone. And Cassone 10-2 this week, 10-2-1. And he takes a 3-game lead over Billy 369. So congrats to Cassone with the strong week. Now here, let's take a look at the line opened at 8.5 at Pinnacle. And it was bet up to 9.5 at one point. It was up to 10 on the 29th. So it was up to 10 pretty much at like midnight my time. And then it was bet down to 8.5, down to 8, down to 7.5, and it stayed at 7.5. So there's been some sharp movement on the Bears over the last 24 hours. What are the odds Dylan breaks 500 for the season in the contest? Let's take a look. Oof. Dylan's 9 games back. Holy, Mike, you got 5 units on the Packers covering at 7.5. Well, good luck to you. Hopefully they can cover for your sake. What's going on, Michigan? How you doing tonight? Yeah, Dylan wanted to make some sort of bet that he would hit 70% this year, but currently Dylan is at 47%. He's 9 games back of 500. What week are we in? We're week 12. So we have 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There's 5 weeks. 5 weeks times 16 games, 80 games. So he has to go what? 45 and 35? 45. So he has to hit at 56% the rest of the way. I'd say the chances of him doing that are like, I don't know, 7-8%. It's not looking likely. You were having a beautiful day and then Tyreek Hill. 70% straight up would be amazing. Yeah. What's up, Michigan? Chiefs like to hold when Kelsey gets the ball. Yeah. What's up, Jay? I'm ridiculous. Mickey knows Dylan is better in the second half. That is true. Dylan went on a spectacular run last year, so it's definitely possible that Dylan can do it. I'm telling you the math, Dylan. It's not that I don't believe in you. I'm just telling you the math. You have to go 56% the rest of the way, Dylan, to break even. And by break even, I mean go 500. To break even, you're going to have to go like 60% the rest of the way. Well, 56% the rest of the way. So far, only 6 out of 163 people have done it. So what's that? 6 divided by 163. So only 3.5%. It's fine, Item. It's fine. Like, at the end of the day, you get to choose your own risk, but the more risk that you take, the likelier that you're going to run out of money faster. So you want to go with some sort of like decent volume, like not a ton of volume. Like, you want to be selective and you want to be conservative with your money. The fat guy is just about to join us. What is going on, fat guy?
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. I'm pissed about that Broncos game. I can't believe they didn't refund the money.
They didn't?
No.
That's interesting because they must have taken a lot of like, there must have been a lot of people that bet Chiefs or the Saints early.
Yeah, but that's like unprecedented circumstances.
Well, that's why they have like the low limits at the start of the week, and that's part of the risk is if you bet early, like that's the shit that can happen. So
Yeah.
it's a learning experience for all of us, and that's why I wanted to keep the games, is because if you bet at the start of the week or you make a pick at the start of the week, there's no guarantee that all the players and all that shit is going to be there by
Yeah. But those
kickoff.
are mitigating circumstances a little bit because they weren't actually injured.
It is true, but it's definitely something to take into consideration when making picks and making plays this year.
Yeah. Yep.
We've been talking about Dylan's chances to go 500 in the contest, and he is currently sitting 9 games back with 5 weeks to go. So there's 80 games. He'd have to win 45 of the last 80. So he'd have to hit for 56.25%.
Well, it's a smaller sample, so it's a bit easier to do, but I still don't like his chances.
The Chiefs host Denver next week. Jamie just informed me. What do I think the line will be? I think it'll be a lot of points for the Chiefs.
They'll get to sign a quarterback, though.
Yeah. How come they don't get to sign a quarterback for this game? Like, how come they can't bring a guy off the street to play?
You have to quarantine. That's why this is especially bad.
Yeah, it's tough.
They tried to get I'm not even joking. They tried to get a quality control coach to play quarterback, and they even considered John Elway, and that's not even a joke.
It's interesting. I just couldn't resist putting one unit on the Broncos at 17. The OU of 36 is bananas. What was the final score?
30-3.
31-3. So the under ended up hitting.
Yeah.
One
of our friends got he bet the over pretty big early on, 46.
In that game?
Chiefs 3 weeks in a row? No way. I don't think so. I gotta see. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Yeah. So Chiefs didn't cover. I'm a little miffed about that, but they had a good performance. Whatever. They got the win. That's all that matters. That's part of getting favorites. I think if they're not going to have that guy though, like Hinton. I called it yesterday. I'm like, it's going to be a complete disaster, and it was, because they didn't have one practice. They're literally making it up as they went along. It's the NFL. You can't do that.
I like what Mickey said. Why do they keep putting the Bears in prime time?
Well, I mean,
Jake Jacobs says that quality control coach trying to make one game check and cash out.
yeah.
Yeah,
well, he
it's
would have
not
got. Let me think how much money he would have got. It's about 800,000 over 16 games. So, yeah, that's not bad, man. What is that? That's 50 grand. That's pretty good. That's more than his entire wage for the year. A quality control guy.
Yeah, that's
Holy.
not bad.
He probably would have done better than Hinton did.
I think that's fair to say.
I think John Elway would have done better than Hinton did.
Oh, 100%.
He probably would have. I bet you he would have engineered a drive.
Well, he would have at least been able to field snaps and hand the ball off. That's for sure. And he would have been accurate with passes. He might not be zinging them 50 yards down the field, but I'm pretty sure Elway can still make a pretty accurate 30-yard pass in the NFL.
Well, this is just it, Dylan. You named it for sure. How old is he? He's 60. No way he was in serious consideration. I thought he was 50-something.
Mickey brings up another good point. Why do Ravens get a pass, but the Broncos don't?
No, he's absolutely right. Like, Dylan, 5.5 points with a full team. Do you think this result changes how I think about the beginning of that game? You're out of your mind. 5.5 points against a regular team. They didn't have a quarterback. You think I would take 5.5 points now? I would bet on the Saints laying 5.5 all day, every day, twice on Sunday. Literally. Why did the Ravens get a pass and the Broncos didn't? I don't know. And Mudhole's got an interesting league punishment for a violation, perhaps.
I like what Item said. I love how we're debating whether Elwood would unironically be able to play in 2020.
Well, I mean, what's he supposed to do? Sorry, look what he's compared to. That guy literally couldn't do anything, and I don't blame him. He played a couple games in his freshman year at Wake Forest. What do you think's going to happen? I knew this would be a disaster. And the thing is, they don't have any practices. If they practiced all week, you might have done just a little bit.
Oh, there's a video of all the quarterbacks meeting with no masks. It's just not good. 3-1's not bad at all. That's true, Sarah. We had a good day.
Well, you know what? Elway could have at least read a defense and chose what gap to run the ball in. That doesn't go away. You know? The thing is, for him, the health risks are enormous. And think if you're the Saints, you really want to crush John Elway. He's 60 years old. I'm glad that didn't have to happen, but it was a thought. They did that once with what year was that? The Matt Schaub injury for the Texans. They've lost to the Ravens in the playoffs. They kicked the tires on I think it was Dan Marino. That was 2012. They could have done that, Mickey, but the problem was that they had no practices, none. They didn't have a backup plan. This is why Howie Roseman is smart. He kept on the practice squad, the emergency practice squad. He has whatchamacallit? Josh McCown all year. That's not a bad plan. I think that was smart. And people are upset that he's going to make $150,000 for doing nothing. Well, that the whole point is they don't want to have to play him. They're happy for that insurance policy. You lost with KC. They pushed.
Also, if you got it at close, KC closed at 3.5.
Yeah, it was a 2011 Texans. There you go. Here's a good question.
What's the question?
Dylan, what should the Saints-Falcons line be next week? Great question. What do you think it is, Dylan? You're the one who seems to know. Let us know. Well, Dan Marino was 51 when they asked him to play. The Houston Texans. Their first choice though was Kurt Warner, and they offered him. That one came close. They offered him over $1 million a game, a playoff game. How old was he? I'm curious. He would have been 41. He would have been prime, fine. Well, Jamie's got an interesting twist. He was a Brownie, and then he followed Schottenheimer to the Chiefs. Right on. Yeah, 49ers swept Rams, but they got 7.5 points. So I thought that was a good spread bet to get that. I got a nice result with New England too. That was a game I really, really liked.
I've had a revelation this week, and it's funny to say because we've been secret Browns fans for the past few years, but even at 8-3, I can't stand the Browns right now. And
why?
I just don't like their team. So I've come.
What don't you like about them? I'm curious.
I don't like Mayfield.
Yeah, I think he's bad. I think they know he's bad though.
I don't like the receiver stuff.
Yeah, me neither. That's two things.
I do like the run game.
I think the run game's great. It might be the best in the league.
I do like the running backs. I don't mind the defense. It's I just have a tough time cheering for
Baker
Haslam
Mayfield
and Mayfield.
That's fair.
But I think I've settled on two teams that I like now, and one of them is the Washington football team,
Yeah, I like them.
and I think the other one is the Carolina Panthers.
Panthers are phenomenal. They played. I'm gonna say this though. They Matt Rule coached one of the worst last 4 minutes of a game I've ever seen.
Terrible. I was
He
so
knows
upset.
it though. I think he knows.
But I realized I liked them because I was upset that they made those decisions, and it wasn't.
They were terrible.
It wasn't good.
Well, then they'll be home field, Don. That's what everyone wants. Everyone wants to be in the Super Bowl when they're hosting it. I don't remember that ever happening though. I don't think it has happened. Moneyline Bears. I mean, I've heard crazier things. It's called a long shot for a reason.
You missed Item at the start. Item made 40 units today.
How? He gambled too much, but
Well, he bet the Falcons. He won big on Falcons, and then he did a
Okay.
Giants Browns parlay. And I
Giants
talked
Browns
about-
money line.
a Giants and a Browns money line parlay. Sorry.
That's not going to pay too much.
He said he started the year with $60 and he's up to $1,900, and so he said he was playing with house
There's
money.
There's no such thing as house money.
Exactly. I said I really wish that you were here, like the fat guy. If you were here,
You can. All right. If it was house money, could you? Okay. If it wasn't real money, why could you not take the money out right now and spend it on whatever you wanted to?
So I told him all the same stuff you're telling him right now, and I on top of that said, like, reset yourself, like you're pretty much
Restart.
at $2,000
Just-
now.
Okay. So you use really reckless bankroll management to get there. Roll it back and use proper bankroll management now, though, if that's the way you feel. That's what I would do. You got given a gift from the gambling gods. Let's not piss it away.
No such thing as a hot hand. Hot hands don't exist. You've done a really good job so far, and you've been on the right side of some coin flips, and you got to. It's back to reality now.
No. Okay. Do you remember the South Park where the entire town gambles on roulette and they have to hit one number and they do it? And then they decide to take all of their winnings and put it on that same number, and it doesn't come up. And then Stan goes, "Why? We had what we need. We had all the money we needed to save the town." And he goes, "You don't understand anything about gambling, Stan." Yeah, and exactly. Same with investing with in the stock market, and it's gone.
Yeah.
Exact same way.
Mickey's on the under 44.5. Oh,
Yes,
untouchable smells
there
like
is.
green screen.
Yeah, there's some version of one right now. All the kinks haven't been worked out, but it's there.
For some reason, even with the green screen, there's still a lot of mystery behind you.
What? It's smoke. I have this green pillow it wedged in my chair, and it's fucking shit up. Oh, excuse me. Potty mouth.
Whoa, okay, whoa. Let's go back here. Jake, you said they're all on the Packers. Who's on the Packers? Is it the broadcast team?
Who said this? I want to read this again.
Jake said they're all on the
Oh,
Packers.
Jake Jacobs confirming? Well, we know what kind of spread bet this is.
This game hasn't started yet. There's still 4 minutes. All the commentators? Oh, no.
Oh, this is good.
Well,
Oh, dude, I'm with Mudhole. This is a mud. I got the Bears, but I don't have any other stuff. Okay, so the whole stream's on the Bears. Okay, let's good luck. But I'm a Mudhole fan today. This is it. +8, under 44.5, and a sprinkle in the Bears money line. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. We're going against America, which is usually a good thing. Vicky, I
Well,
ain't taking Bears money line.
it's a good thing when you're picking football games. I wouldn't want to go against America for almost anything else.
No, absolutely not.
All right, well,
Thank you.
this means a Bears money line play. They're +294, 1 unit. I've done it, Jackson. I did 1 unit on the Bears money line, and you best believe I'm going to be watching this live line as this game goes along. Look at this, everybody's. We were all reluctant, and now, thanks to Jake Jacobs' keen eye, finding out that everybody and their uncle is on the Packers.
I did hit a
plus 300.
something lucky happened to me.
Someone put 100,000 on the Bears. I saw that
did.
at what, +320? I think they had.
Yeah. I got at one of those poker games. I got Chiefs money line at even.
That's nice.
I had to take it.
You got to. Anytime you get what, that's like a 12-13% edge. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
You can't beat
Reasonable
that.
3 digits.
I wouldn't mind hitting
Canadian,
63% for the year.
Yeah, I know.
That would be pretty good.
I heard an argument and I just became the arbiter because I tend to be. I'm the when there's a question in rules and gambling ethics, I'm usually the guy they default to. So somehow I came with a ruling and then I ended up making a wager with the guy. So. Yeah, even exactly. I wasn't planning on betting the Chiefs. Anyways, the argument was about whether or not a guy accepted the bet of Chiefs money line at even, and they asked if verbal was binding, and I said yes, and he's like, "Well, I don't have to do it just because he said so." I'm like, you know what? I'll just take the bet then. That's what I did. I'm like, then nothing's missed. You don't have to take the bet. I took the bet. He's satisfied. So then the guy got worried because he knows what I'm up to in my spare time. So did this channel move the line down? Bears +270.
There's not much has changed at Action Network.
It shouldn't have.
But most people are on the Packers money line, which is to be expected. Most people are on the over. Most people are on the Packers -7.5.
Oh, it's just your book, yeah.
Who's going
to the Super Bowl? I don't know. It's tough. It's very hard to say. Oh, I just took a bet though. I did take a bet for a couple hundred. I have to put up. What do I have to? I have to put up 700, and the other guy has to put up 400. So it's +175. And I have the field going to the Super Bowl, and he has the Chiefs. So if the Chiefs don't go to the Super Bowl, I get my 400. If they do, he gets 700. However, though, there's an injury clause. If Mahomes gets injured, he doesn't have it. The bet's a null and void. Or if both Kelsey and Hill get injured for one of the playoff games, he doesn't have to pay.
I don't like those wrinkles, but hey, so be it. It's still good odds on your.
Well, because I don't like their chances. The Chiefs have. I think the Steelers have a good chance of being the 1 seed, and that's just like there's so many games you're gonna play, right? It's just very hard to win 3 in a row, right?
Yeah.
So the only way he would do it is if I added an injury clause, and I did. So we'll see.
And that's to make the Super Bowl or to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, to make the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Dude, is this John C. Reilly?
It might be because I think he's. I can't listen, so you're gonna have to tell me.
I'm pretty sure. Yep. John C. Riley. My favorite. My absolute favorite. If anyone's seen, check it out with Dr. Steve Brule. One of my favorite things of all time. Not
Really
as good as
funny.
the Perry Project or the Big Three, however we want to call it, the movie Windy City Heat, but Green. Yeah, Jackson just commented on Don's thing.
For NFC North.
Yeah. Well, Dylan, you got in at what's called the right time, and you made a great bet. Regardless of what happens, don't ever look at the results. Don't go, even if the Bears win by 30, don't go, oh, I knew it, or I didn't need the extra, point and a half. You do. Because think about it. It's a few percentage points that just add up all the time, right? You want to be on the right side of it. So cheers to Dylan Roberts with the best line in the channel. I did hear of someone getting them at 10, the Bears at 10.
Well, the line was as high as 10 at Pinnacle. So that's
one of the guys at the place I was at got it at 10.
Yeah, that's pretty lucky. It was about 24 hours ago. It was up at 10 for just a little bit.
Yeah, he said it was only there for like an hour.
The Packers are huge favorites to win the NFC North, but you asked about the South. Who's leading in the South?
Oh, Saints. Saints are pretty big favorites. Oh, Tennessee. Oh, NFC South. Sorry.
Yeah, NFC South. You're right. They're 2 wins
Yeah,
up
Saints. Oh, yeah.
on the Buccaneers.
I got wires crossed.
Saints are pretty big favorites to win the NFC. Yeah, no problem. All right, so Green Bay starts with the ball. There is no fans in Lambeau. Lambeau usually a place with pretty good home field advantage, but this year teams with no fans have pretty much had a non-existent home field advantage. Mike's calling his shot here with Steelers Saints Super Bowl. It's interesting that Devontae Adams has the #1 receiver rating, according to PFF, even though he's only played, half the year?
Yeah. For fantasy reasons, I need Rodgers to not do as well. 30-1 to win the Super Bowl. I like that price. I think that price is good now, considering they're going to win the division. I think it's probably the true odds from right now, Mud, are probably 14, I would say. Maybe 16. Yeah, I know yours was early because you wouldn't be able to get that price now. That's really, really good forecasting. Keem Hicks isn't playing. That's really tough. Oddly quiet. Eerily quiet, rather. It's not odd.
Chiefs have won 18 of their last 19 games. They're a really good team. Mahomes is hard to beat. Mahomes is he's playing at a whole different level than a lot of other quarterbacks in the league.
200 yards in the first quarter and 2 touchdowns from Tyreek Hill. That's got to be a record. His secondary doesn't tackle. Oh, it was 2 yards shy. That's unfortunate. I thought he was going to break the overall record. I think Julio Jones has it against Carolina. My sister's friend was playing corner against Julio Jones, and he lost his job the next day. So didn't work out. No, I couldn't today. I didn't bet on him though. I took Atlanta. It was a nice day for that. Nice front flip by Alan Lazard.
The faders.
Tough third down. We wish we could have being on the Bears. It's got to be a run, no?
You talked about it earlier with the secondary needing to tackle.
They're just very poor at it, the Bears secondary. Eddie Jackson had a historically bad performance, I would say, from a tackling perspective last game. I like the football team to win that division. Oh, hardly anyone has it in the bag item, I don't think.
I think the Giants have the tiebreaker though, so
they do.
Washington has to be one full win better.
The tiebreaker could change though, Big Rye.
Yeah, that's a good point. It could change. The Belichick's the better coach out of the two. Andy Reid is second.
This drive is plodding. It's 5 minutes now. And don't forget, I think the tiebreaker is really close.
I'll take McVay over. I'm guessing you're talking about Kyle Shanahan. I'll take McVay for now.
Good question. Good question, Jamie. I think it's on Tuesday though. The game. Yeah, there's a chance. I don't know how many points I need though. Like it's pretty tough here. They got to be packed closer to the line here, guys. I really thought they should have been tighter on that. It's a bad omen to give up a long first drive.
Where was McVay coordinator before Washington?
He's worked around a lot though. Wonder how far the Ravens line move. That's a great question. I don't really know. Not all the information's out though. And don't forget, there's a lot of guys missing on Pittsburgh too, right? Like, don't forget James Conner's out. Not that if Benny Snell has to play, it doesn't bother me. But I don't know how far that's going to go. How far reaching these consequences are.
You really have to wait 90 minutes before kickoff, see who's active, who's inactive, who's on the COVID list, and then decide. It's going to be one of those games where you wait till the last 10 minutes to bet it anyways, depending on market factors.
This is really, really important for the Bears to get a stop here.
That helped there.
He would have got a touchdown, I think. He's rowdy enough. He would have roughed himself into the end zone. Pittsburgh -10 seems right. Why couldn't they get any pressure? Oh, goodness.
Well, I think they only rushed 3.
I know, but like why even have Trevathan in coverage, though? It's not his fault, but like he's just not going to give you anything there.
Fat guy, who do you have as your top 5 for quarterbacks?
Wow, missed. Mitchell Trubisky, Jake Luton. Who else would I go? I'm thinking Kendall, what's his name from the Broncos?
Winston?
No.
Or Winton?
No. Yeah, Kendall Winton. There you go. Mike Glennon, yeah. I'm considering Sam Darnold as well. Joe Flacco. Quality control coach Rob Calabrese. And Nathan Peterman, yeah. MVP Mitch. We're going to need it, Mickey, if we're going to get any sort of return on investment after that start. The strongest part of the Bears defense broke magically. 7-minute drive.
How many games do you think the Houston Texans win in a season if they didn't have Watson?
Well, it depends who the backup is. Like, you got to give me some sort of replacement to make a forecast.
Well, let's see who the backup is in Houston.
Or the best available. That might be the better way of going.
What if A.J. McCarron or Josh McCown starts?
That's interesting. It's probably a 4-win team. Four is really the lowest you should go on a forecast. You got to be really bad to have a 2-win forecast. Like, you got to be really bad. We did feel that way about the Jets this year, and I guess that's one game closer.
For fantasy, I have no clue who I'd be drafting top 5 next year. It's way too early.
I think
to
McCaffrey's
say.
still number 1. Barkley would slip for me. I don't know how his knee injury would go. Kamara would be in the conversation for first overall. And Dalvin Cook as well. It's one of those 3. I don't think you put a wide receiver in the top 5. That's never going to happen for me. Interesting to squib it off the first kickoff to Cordero. And now we got Magic Mitch Trubisky.
So it looks like there is some fans at Lambeau, but I'm not sure who those people are. Is it just family?
Um, they said they were trying out protocols. I don't know what that means.
Some of the other stadiums, I know they were doing that. Who would be the best fit for Detroit now that Matt's fired? I think the best person for that job, the fat guy, and I probably don't even know.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Jackson's got a good question. Do you even think the Falcons should keep Raheem Morris? I don't think so, but I mean, if there's no... Okay. Okay. We just had the biggest run of David Montgomery's career. I want to see this again. They're pretty light in the middle here.
I feel like Green Bay forgot the play started.
Jair Alexander could have done better there. Oh, it is the longest run of his career. I wasn't just making that up. Wow. And then they go and they run the most winded guy right up. Like, whatever. That would have been a good time for a quarterback run. No, I'm not, unfortunately. I had pretty fast straight line speed, faster than some of those fatsos. Not right now, though. Well, no, that was 100 pounds ago. I have no idea what just happened.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a touchback.
Oh, I don't think he has it at all. I disagree. I don't know. I don't even know anymore. I don't know. I have no idea. I think that should be a fumble. I just don't. It's not consistent with what they always do.
Yeah, Eric, we look really stupid most of the time.
Yeah. Hey! Okay. Well, you can do heroin now. So you can have a little bit of heroin is decriminalized, so I'd imagine weed is. Yeah, it is too a little bit. Yeah, we live near Vancouver. We're gonna be the first city where you're allowed to have heroin. We have the worst heroin problem in probably the world, and now it's legal to have it or decriminalized. You can't get in trouble for having it anymore. Yeah, no, weed is too. So you should see what downtown Vancouver looks like. There's a area called the Downtown East Side. It looks literally like Escape from New York. In the summer, it's the worst I've ever seen it because they had all the government money. 6,000 people, people screaming in the middle of the streets, people with giant chunks taken out of their legs. They look like zombies. Dumpster fires, the works. It's a lot of fun. Syringes everywhere. They sleep in people's enclaves, like in the doorways and stuff. So I've never even watched a CFL game start to finish. I've been to them, but I've just ended up talking to the people I've been with. I was going to give CFL a chance this year, not even joking.
I prefer the NFL.
There's the short answer.
The CFL is a little bit of a different experience to watch, though. There's only 3 downs in the CFL, and you're allowed
Bigger
to have
field.
One extra skill position player on the field, and you're also allowed to go in motion. So like guys get like a 10-yard sprint start at the like receivers do. So it's
a go route can be way more threatening.
And the field is bigger, the ball is bigger, the field's wider as well. So there you get like a lot of like shifty players and like big arm quarterbacks. There's a lot more space to run too, like if there is a completion. A speed pick CFL. There's not a big enough market to really make good market plays in the CFL, but I'm sure there is some opportunity if the fat guy and I wanted to dive in, we could probably do it.
Yeah, I wanted to give CFL a chance this year, honestly. Honestly did. There's it's funny is like my brother-in-law was drafted in the CFL. I think 3rd overall. Like it's not that crazy, you know what I mean?
Well, what's interesting about the CFL is that you have to have a certain amount of Canadian players on your team.
Yeah.
So there's import players. So like the import players from the US tend to be like a lot better than the Canadian players.
Tend to be. There's certain aspects though. Like one of my favorite things is they said, "Oh, Tebow should go play in the CFL." Tebow would be awful in the CFL. You need a much bigger arm in the CFL, like much bigger arm. It's just different, Eric. It really is. There's a lot of the teams in the NFL would do poorly, I think, using like playing with the CFL rules, CFL style. Because, like, for instance, think about it. If it's 10 yards, it feels 10 yards bigger in every direction. If you run a go route, like, right near the sideline, think about how incrementally farther that is, right? And so some of the guys, like Warren Moon's the best CFL player ever. Warren Moon was no slouch in the NFL, but that's because Warren Moon had a giant arm. Warren Moon could sling it like you wouldn't believe, and then there you go, right? Yeah, there is also 1 point rouge. So if you kick the ball out the end zone, and you get 1 point,
like on a punt, if you instead of a touchback, it's you get a point.
Conversely, Item just said it best. So the Chiefs would basically drop 100 in the CFL. Yes, they're a team that would be ridiculously dominant. It wouldn't even be funny.
Yeah, Johnny Manziel was struggled in the CFL. I think he got like traded to like 3 different teams or
3 different teams. He was unbelievably bad. It does have weed. It's a thing. It's very like it's popular, but it's not like it's just a part of the culture. You know what I mean? You kind of get over it when you're in your 30s, anyways. I was never big into it.
The NFL is fairly popular in Canada.
It's more popular in the CFL. I would say it's very popular. Because fantasy football switched over a lot of people.
Yeah, fantasy football does have a lot of people hooked on the NFL in Canada, but there is like Canada's it's hockey first, and then everything else is second.
Yeah. Although not in our group of friends, oddly enough. So our group of friends is probably the only group that doesn't really watch that much hockey. They could mud. Toronto is probably the 3rd biggest football market in the world. Toronto after LA and New York. That's what they say anyways.
Well,
the
Toronto's the 5th biggest market in North America. So there's a lot of incentive for them to bring a team to Toronto, but they've held off mainly because of the CFL. I know a lot of people have lobbied against it because if there's one NFL team in Canada, it would kill the CFL, which it's a controversial thing, I guess you could say, up here.
A lot of Buffalo's fan base is from Toronto. So it's like that's a thing. If they honestly, the Bills should move to Toronto. That would make the most sense. Vancouver couldn't support it. I'll tell you that right now. We have no, not even close. We could have done an NBA team if we had the right support, but the league really didn't support Vancouver in as far as the NBA goes. I agree with what Mickey said. Oh my goodness.
Hicks is such a huge difference maker to the Bears defense. And so missing him is like Von Miller gets all the, Khalil Mack gets all the hype, but like Akeem Hicks is really what makes this defense go. And the Bills used to have one home game a year in Toronto. They did that for like, I think 4 seasons, but they stopped doing it.
That I don't find that to be roughing the passer. I think that's a load of shit.
There was so many hits on some of these like backup style quarterbacks today that I feel like would have been flagged if they were like some of these star quarterbacks.
Names of prominence.
I find it very inconsistent. Like why?
That's the part I don't like. I think these rules are garbage, but at least keep them consistent. Canada has great casinos. I don't know. I've only went to one casino I actually like. And there's one in downtown Vancouver that's nice, just not my style. Oh, lots today's apps. It was a good day.
Watching hockey in person, especially playoff hockey, is like, I'd argue there's nothing better. Going to a hockey game compared to going to a football game. I'll go hockey any day. I prefer watching football on TV, but playoff hockey is really good to watch. Yeah, Zaps. We ended up jumping on the. Today we went 3-1 with bets, up 4 units because there was a couple 2-unit plays in there that won. In this game, we're on the Bears money line because all of the commentators took the Green Bay Packers, as well as America's pick was the Packers.
Yeah, he did earlier, Eric, letting us have it for having to back a team that didn't have a quarterback. Corey Lindsley, starting offensive lineman.
The number 1 graded center, according to Pro Football Focus.
Yeah, sure.
Isn't that with everywhere, Eric? Like if you go eat in some rural city at like just a mom and pop's place, isn't it always better?
Well, it's less pretentious so often, yeah. Oh, it's not much of a hairdo. It's just a lot of hair. That's all. I don't like when it's in my face, so I've been wearing a hat lately.
That's an interesting stat, Zaps. If that Shanahan might be 6-2 against the spread against McVay.
It's very interesting. Might be a little bit of run good, you know, because it was a great result this week for that. That division's very interesting, especially if Seattle loses to the Eagles. It's gonna be wide open. What, you got 2 teams at 6-5, one at 7-4, and then one at 7-3 with a game pending. What do we think the Giants Seahawks line will be if Jones can't play? It's in Seattle, right?
I'm going to double check because that was my first question.
I would say Seattle -9. That'd be my guess. Maybe minus Jones -11 in that range.
It's in Seattle.
Who's the backup? Oh, I don't mind the backup though. There might be value on that. Colt McCoy is like fine. He's milk toast. I like that though. I don't need much. And they've been oddly running the ball quite well. Cleveland's 8-3, Eric, just so you know. Yeah, I don't mind that. Colt McCoy is fine. Because I have to be honest, I think Colt McCoy, there's most things it does much poorer than Daniel Jones. However, though, I don't imagine he's going to turn the ball over too much. I see an OMG. We're 10 seconds behind him at a minimum, so maybe something good, maybe something bad. Something interesting, though, I would imagine. Oh, guess nothing then. Browns are 8-3. Yeah, I know.
Stefanski's been a huge win for the Browns and their
He has been. So is Andrew Berry. I think they got it. I think they've got it. They're gonna have to do something about quarterback though. I think they know that though. I think they're 20% better with Matt Stafford.
Yeah, Dylan, they're definitely not a strong 8-3.
290, Eric. Worst 8-3 team of all time. Well, you're gonna need a big Rolodex in your brain to realize that, Dylan. I don't know if they're the worst. I don't think they're a great 8-3 team. Yeah, I agree with what Zap said. Yeah, Ravens have a good chance of missing the playoffs, actually.
There's nothing guaranteed, especially this season.
The Browns went 10-6 about 10 years ago. So that's a good place to start. Oh, Untouchable Jay spouting some Gaelic. I'm pretty sure that is what Colin Cowherd said. But that's what those talking heads do. They're paid to look nice, as Poker Joe says in his sports betting book, Sharper.
He's a very smart guy because he gets paid for just spouting nonsense. You know what? This year I will look into the WNBA, just about 8 to 12 teams mastering the wagering. I'm sure there's a ton of opportunity to bet WNBA, to be honest.
The limits are just low though. But money is money, profit is profit.
D coordinators to figure out how to defend Lamar. That's so true, Mickey. That second year when teams get to take a look and kind of study, it definitely helps. Dylan just connected my world right now. Dylan, everything is connected now. This is okay. I'm gonna get to it in 1 second. Tennessee, I thought set a good blueprint last playoffs in how to defend Lamar, and Dylan Toddfield watches Colin Coward, his blazing 5 picks every week. He is also a fan of Max Kellerman. I've never been more confident in my life about anything now. Big Ryan, the fat guy, there is a reason that we're doing so well as of late. So this is where Dylan's getting his information. Tennessee is a very strong playoff team.
Yeah, they've had some really bum performances too. Their defense can be exploited, but if that run game is churning, they're pretty tough to beat.
Who watched that boxing match last night? Tyson Roy Jones.
You didn't miss much, Jay.
Yeah, Nate Robinson got messed up. There's 100 people in the stands and someone has a "Get Loud" Lambo sign. Good completion by Trubisky. Jake Paul is a contender. Oh my God.
Those guys are clowns.
Why NBA players can't box is a mystery. Would you like to box Bill Laimbeer, fat guy?
Right now, sure. I've never boxed anyone taller than me. That's not true. I've only done it one time. I'd take that fight tomorrow though.
There's only one NBA player that can throw a punch, and that's Jermaine O'Neal.
I'm trying to think of an NBA player I wouldn't box. LeBron's in too good a shape, man. That guy's a monster. I watched his him scrimmaging in New York. Oh God. Zaps had 5 units on Jake Paul. Where do you even get down 5 units? I want your book.
Well, at Pinnacle, you could bet. I can't remember if it was like 1,000 or just under 2,000.
Really, that much?
Yep. Eric just put a big bet on Golden State over 36.5 wins. Max and Colin are entertaining, and they're very, very public.
So no, they're great. They're great.
They're entertaining, but they're very public.
I feel like this is a very good. You know how they say this county polls well. This polls really well. I think this Dylan Colin Coward connection.
They can be very captivating and very persuasive. Let's put it that way, Dylan.
Oh, well, you're gonna want to bet the highest on win total, like preseason.
Win total is going to be the best
Your largest
place
bet
to find opportunity.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to predict variance over 82 games rather than one game. But at the same time, you have to think that your money is being held for a long period of time, so you want the investment to match what else you could do with that money over that same period of time.
I'm detoxing. Yeah, so am I. I don't know if Dylan's trolling us, but it's working.
No
What the
drinking
hell was
games at
that?
the moment, unless you guys want to come up with some drinking stuff.
What the hell was that? This should be a Bears firing game. I'm not even joking.
Not trolling. Shannon Sharp is also one of my favorite. That's good.
All right.
So Trubisky, it looks like he had an interception to end that drive.
He sure did.
Same old Mitchell. Fat guy, are you a Raiders fan?
I don't know. I have a lot of Raiders gear. I like the logo. I like the history of the Raiders. I like the direction that they're going in as well, despite having probably their worst game under John Gruden today. But I capitalized on it. Happened to take Atlanta. So in the short answer, I'm going to say no. But I'm not really a fan of anybody super hard, right? Oh, Zap's caching, taking a bunch of garbage dogs. I can get behind that. I love that type. The Bears are hard to watch.
The fat guy's trying to get on an NFL apparel commercial.
Yeah, that's right. I wanted to talk about LA or something, and what a play by 31. Good job, Eddie. Eddie Jackson's really lucky that Devontae Adams didn't catch the ball, because then it would be a touchdown. Yeah, sell Tukes. Yeah, there we go, Tukes. What a great callback from Jackson. And by the way, the toque debate is real. It's not a beanie, it's a toque, okay? Jackson said it best, but I mean, don't tap the glass, Jackson. I need this. I need this perfect storm of squareness. We have access to his picks. Don't forget. Do you want to make a wager, Dylan, on how well you'll do down the stretch? Because you promised me 60%. You were going to bet $1,000, and then you backed out, and I let you back out of it. I didn't hassle you, even though you gave your word. I'm willing to give you redemption this time. I got to be honest, Mickey, that's better than I thought. Than I would have thought. I'm in agreement with what Zap said. I do kind of like that, Eric. It's extra trolly. So there's a reason I didn't put my Browns gear on today. No such thing as jinxing. No such thing as luck.
I agree with the fat guy.
Oh, it was that low, Jackson. Really? Well, I was going to offer even money, so...
Well, Dylan has to go 56% the rest of the way. There's 6 people in the contest that have gone 56% or better out of 163.
Care to make a wager, Dylan? We can even put it in the next video. You can bet with me this time, and we can track your progress. It can be a new facet of the show. At the end, of course. We'll put it after name of the week. No, Big Rye didn't say anything. All I did was offer a wager. That was it, Dylan. No, Mickey, it's fine. There you go.
You have my respect, Dylan, but it's
you have our respect. Absolutely,
it's in a whole different way.
This is entirely different. You have my respect when you drank a glass of milk that had certain shavings of yours in it. That garnered all respect.
Zaps, no, tell me about it.
Yeah, I heard about the first female to play college football on Saturday. I mean, hey, if they're the best person for the job, I'm okay with it. I find that dubious.
I love that play from the Packers.
Why is Fuller playing so soft? I have a question, though. Why wouldn't you just, if you're Adams, just try and plow over, like run right at Fuller as hard as you can? Because if you're able to bust it over him, you're going to get a touchdown. I guess it's an easy one. You don't have to take damage, that type of thing.
Well, you have to remember a player like Devontae Adams is, trying to have like 80, 90, 100 catches in a season. So every time he touches the ball, he's not trying to hit the end zone.
Yeah, that's true. It's just, I don't know. I feel like he could overpower Fuller. Oh, you finally got it? That's fantastic, Mr. Setapo El Putas. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, man. I'm glad you got
One of our loyal players of the contest.
And that's not a gift. That's you earned that.
You earned that. You earned that, absolutely.
That's usually a good feeling, Jackson. Once we hit halftime, Dylan, I'll set up so you can see what your chances are to win.
Where is Dylan in the top 25? No.
Dylan's tied for second this week, but he's
this week
9 games back. He's 9 games below 500 in the overall.
Wow, we actually got to stop here. All right, Dylan, I'm willing to resurrect the bet of the century. I'm willing to accept the baton from Mickey Hill. You tell us the terms. We got you all listening. You got all the attention you want. I'm in. Tell me what you want to do. We can butter your crust, whatever you want.
If Dylan's going to offer you 4-1.
Oh, if he's offering 4-1, how could I resist? Butter them crusts, exactly. Jackson gives that a 0 eyebrows out of 2.
Eric, usually the fat guy and I are pretty, like, I'd say our picks are like 95% the same.
Yeah. Maybe more than that, actually.
And usually if one of us has a stronger feeling on that game than the other, we'll just let that person make that pick.
Yeah, sometimes we'll like converse over one. Usually I care more, but sometimes I get overruled, and often, I'll be honest, it's good.
Yeah, like the Cincinnati one was different, but that's
way to be results-based, Big Rye.
Well, it's one of the ones that stood out. And it was more so, like, I didn't have a strong feeling either way. I just had a feeling of I thought the market overreacted. And like you said, it's a results base for one game.
So they go for it on 4th down here, and Robert Tonyan.
We kind of have a formula for how we make picks anyways. So it's pretty rare.
Similar. Oh, the 1 chip challenge. I'm interested in that. That's not bad. I do like Cincinnati. I just thought that 4.5 wasn't good enough.
And he was,
Dylan,
to be honest, he was right, because 4.5 was the open, and then it got bet up to 6.5. So he was on the right side of the play at 4.5.
I thought the line would move well. I don't know, Dylan. I don't know. I have every disadvantage, and somehow I finish on top every year. Every year, seem to do it every year. You know, am I due for a down one? Sure, but I don't know. I see the leaderboard, Dylan, and I see Big Ryan the Fat Guy ahead of Pride or Dylan Toddfield. That's all I see. Oh, it would hurt you. You would be sleeping on your tum-tum, Dylan. Yeah, if you played a Queen's Gambit, you'd be sleeping on your tummy. You said that this year. What happened? Okay, well, put your money where your mouth is. I've seen one chip challenge. If you want money, I can bet money. What would you like, Dylan? Fill your boots. You have all of the regulars here. The ball is in your court. No, he won't put the wager in. Oh, parlay on Dylan. I'll be broke if I had to pay that out. Well, Dylan, like I said, put up or shut up. I am again. We're on the Dylan Todd field. We put you in every video. This is your time. I am down for a wager. I'm down to take over Mickey Hill. We can do the Highlander. There can only be one. I'll be the Kurgan and you're McLeod, or whichever way you want to do it. You let me know. I am down for anything. I got to eat a potato chip that is extremely spicy. Sure. If I have to put a few shekels up, I'm okay doing that. There you go. No, that's not what you said. We can do that too. Sure, we can do that too. But you've changed the rules. First, you're going to finish above 500, and then you're going to win fantasy, and then you're going to win next year for sure. And now it's just you're higher than me on next year's leaderboard. Come on, Dylan. We can do better than that. In the meantime, I've just nice little surprise, refreshing almost. A Lincoln car commercial that doesn't feature smooth Matthew McConaughey. Now it wouldn't be a fair bet. You said it was 80%. Ah, he's trolling us. Big troll job. You won again, Dylan. You won again. Cue the music. All right. I guess the bet of the century is held off. Dylan Illuminati sent. It's from X-Files. How's that Illuminati?
Just for you guys.
Hey, I'd be impressed, Dylan. That's why I was willing to bet against it. Well, Jack gives it a 0 out of 6 eyebrows. It's my favorite joke. It's not even a joke. It's real. We witnessed it. One of my best friends is a marine biologist, oddly enough. He has a degree in it, but he never actually has done anything with it. There you go. Eric's got another one for you. I want my MTV. Yikes, man. Well, Kansas City's the favorite. I don't see how it wouldn't be. You can make a case for Pittsburgh considering they'll have a bye. Who's got the bye in the NFC? Saints?
I think Saints are in the lead in the NFC, if I'm not mistaken. So Saints actually have a pretty nice chance of winning the Super Bowl.
Wow. Darnell Savage picked him up, and then a punch got thrown by King to try and get the ball out. Oh, please. That was such a late flag for a holding. I thought that was a flag against how they tackled Mooney.
One team, only one team gets the bye this year. So 2nd to 7th, they all play. So 7 teams from each conference. 2 play 7. I think. Yeah, I think 2 plays 7. 3 plays 6. 4 plays 5.
I said, holy jeez. Yeah, I think she has, Eric. This is a loss for the BRFG family, I'm thinking. Holy penalty on Zadarius Smith, though. He literally grabbed across his face and ripped it. It's at a minimum illegal contact. That was... Oh, come on. What? What are you going to do?
So Seattle and Green Bay still have to play, but it's looking like Green Bay is going to win this one and move to 8-3. So they'll be 1 game behind the Saints. And then if Seattle wins tomorrow, they'll be 1 game behind the Saints as well.
I think Green Bay has a tiebreaker against the Saints, though.
Possibly, but they're still a game behind, so... The Browns are 8-3 despite having a negative 21-point differential. That's something. Whereas the Falcons are 4-7 with a plus 14-point differential. I was waiting for that message, Mickey. Yeah, it's definitely possible, Untouchable, that Seattle doesn't win tomorrow. Should have did that before season started, but everyone doubted them. Who dat? Fat Guy said every week Saints are top 10. I don't remember the Fat Guy ever saying that the
I don't even
Saints were
talk about the
top
Saints.
10.
Mostly because I don't want to give you any fuel. You know?
Golden State, Miami, 100-1 odds for next season's NBA Finals.
Holy, man. This guy's he's against the world, eh? We got James Dean over here. Rebel without a cause.
I think it would be really hard for the fat guy to leave the Saints out of the top 10, considering they're probably have the second best odds right now to win the Super Bowl. That wouldn't be very strong handicapping.
Eagles +6 +101. I love that. I love that. Oh, here we go. Holy. Dylan doing his best John Dillinger. Yeah, that's +101 is great. Yeah, they sure do.
I will say this: the Saints looked really good today. I can't put my finger on why, but they looked really strong today.
Yeah. There's something going on with FanDuel and DraftKings. I don't get what it is. It's like the squarest of square places, but like there are some offerings, right? Obviously, there are some things you can cherry pick. I have a good friend from New Jersey, and sometimes he'll ask my opinion. So
I thought the Saints defense played well.
oh, good. That's tough. The OU should be 9.5 for points scored by the against any defense in the NFL. Peyton Coach of the Year? I don't know. I probably will take Falcons, to be honest, Dylan. It's close, though.
Well, it depends on the price.
Yeah.
Dylan, we all
I
know
took-
that the Saints are going to be favored. So the Saints are more likely to win, but at what price?
I took the Saints last time against the Falcons. So don't even. I did, just so you know. I bet on them, and I took them in the contest. There should be a flag on. Public loss during the day today, I'll tell you that much.
That's possible, Zaps. I can't believe this game hasn't even hit half yet.
Yeah, I know. It's a snoozer. That was a false start for sure.
Well, it's clear, Eric, that Dylan doesn't actually want to make any wagers tonight. He's had ample opportunity to make plays.
Jackson sending a little precursor.
When is that Saints Chiefs game? That's going to be a fun game.
Well, I just made one. I just made suggestions based on what you said yourself. You know, I didn't make any bombastic claims. You did.
Chicago does need to cup up.
There we go. Jinx, buy me a case of Pepsi. I don't even drink Pepsi. Or is it Coke?
Saints Chiefs is December 20th, so it's going to be an early Christmas gift for all of us.
Cup up or shut up. Is that the most used one? Is that the most used avatar?
It's the cup up and the Dylan. Those are the two most for sure. And then I'd say third is the in the league where they play.
Yeah. Oh, I watched an entire half hour of that guy today.
Or was
it last night in bed?
I'm guessing it was last night. I have a feeling you didn't pass up watching games to watch.
No, I didn't. It must have been last night before bed. It was interesting.
Why do you say that?
You know what I found out about these super teasers? Do you know what it is?
What?
It's minus 130, and you have to hit 4 of them.
And how many points do they get teased up?
I think 13 on OU or spread. There is I think there is a math way of beating it. I think there is a way of beating them with key numbers. I had this thought of it because I was at a very square football place today. Well, not very square, but a little bit. It looks like there was a flag, but I guess not. Oh, slippery surface is back. But yeah, I did watch half an hour of them. Yeah, I watched Airborne the other day, Jay. It was great. It was a great like going to bed movie. You know, it had all the elements of like the classic '90s. So it fit the bill. Thank you, by the way. Sorry, I got to go back to what the sports guy thing though. I did watch him for about half an hour, and it was very entertaining, and he was very sure of himself too. It was, I don't know. I'm a fan. I think I'm a fan. Because I was curious why like he has a reasonable amount of views, right? And there could be some suspicion to that, much like some voting suspicion. However, I do think that he's gonna hit with a lot of people. He's gonna make sense to. And the best part about his scheme is genius. Is the winning record is deceptive. Like here's a good example. My friend hit a 10-team parlay in college football, but it only paid out minus 200. That's not even a joke. I wasn't joking.
I know.
Or it's minus 180, I think it was. It doesn't even matter. It was literally a 10-team parlay, 10-teamer, and it paid up minus 180 because he just picked like Alabama and all those like 30-point favorites to win outright. So, but he's undefeated in. I think he's done 15 now, and he keeps telling me how it's like guaranteed money, and I'm just thinking like how it's, I don't know, maybe it's not, or it might no, maybe he's hit 10 of them. So it's so square that it might be genius. That's what I've come around to. I've come around to that thinking. Like they might be right about some things. They just don't know why. Like some of those might be okay, right? There might be an overlooking here because some of like the winning and losing in contrast to the spread isn't linear, I don't think, with some of these teams. Like not all 30-point favorites are the same. I would love, yeah, I agree with what Jay said. His bets aren't posted, and I would love to comment on his channel. So would Mickey Hill. But he doesn't let it. He doesn't let it. Yeah, exactly, Jackson. That's what it did to me. I was so confused, and he made me show him. I made him show me. Yeah, he bet like $100, and he got back, what was it, 140. So
I think that's really good restraint from Dylan if that was the case.
oh, I love the league where they play. It's last night I was thoroughly enjoyed. I was laughing. I never really laugh in real life. It's very rare, but they when they do happen, they're huge. So, um, okay, no, it was minus 225. You like Huey Lewis in the news, but when sports came out,
This is a very long half.
I can't remember the entire monologue. It's great though. Hip to be a square. It's the best part. Try getting reservations to Dorsia. You don't know. You don't need me to finish that line.
I forgot Calvin Ridley has a brother and he's a receiver. Just made a catch for the Bears.
Oh yeah, the Miami guy. There was something going on there. I looked at that guy's profile. I was curious. Are we gonna get some points here? Hold on, Eric. Brazil would have to be of minus 500. No, Jackson. I used to lightly. I didn't turn a profit, but I am very interested in golf right now. I got to be honest. There's a lot of old guys that bet it, so that's what made my point of intrigue. I know a lot of old people that bet it in their 60s. So if they're doing it, hey, it gives, I don't know. I guess I'm picking on the elderly, but it gives me an idea that it is possible. I just haven't worked out. I need to work on how much juice is involved, though, because a lot of those are like super long futures. Holy jeez.
I've heard good things from golf bettors, but I've never taken the time to look at stuff.
That's not a bad idea. I'm very interested in golf. I think it's I think it could be something of the future too. And the way sports are going in this virus, I think golf has got a good push. I thought golf was going to die, and I think the opposite now. So, and by the way, also just from a total layman perspective, that Bryson DeChambeau, um, like power round that he, or sorry, that tournament where he just overpowered all of the sand traps. I thought that was very, very interesting, and I enjoyed it. That's a flag on 23. Okay, guess not. You can run a run here. Yeah, U.S. Open at Wingfoot. Exactly. That was it. And I'm a super layman. If I had my handicap is probably a 45, I would guess. My dad's in his 70s, and his handicap's a 6 or a 5 right now, but he golfs 6 days a week. So, and he really likes to tell everyone what his handicap is. It's one of those guys.
And his golf handicap.
Yes, that too. Handicap is being an immigrant who can barely read. You probably hear this. So probably one of my family members probably heard me say this on stream, and I'll get back to him. I'll get a phone call, a real angry one. I'll get called a CS or whatever. Something Dylan wouldn't be mind being called. Mud, we got a chance here. You can run a play. You can run a run here. We get or 4 passes. Yeah, okay. We got some points on the board. It's not dead. It's not dead. So you're saying there's a chance, I guess.
I'll keep my eye out on the live lines, Eric.
What, Dylan trying to take you to Ram Ranch there, Jackson? Remember when Jay Cutler was the quarterback?
Yeah, we liked Cutler quarterback teams, even though he, I feel like, did a poor job against the spread.
Yeah.
Bears are 12-1 to come back and win.
Jay Cutler is a quarterback, and also there is a Jay Cutler who is a bodybuilder. You play it in the car? Oh, I'm going to do that. That's great. You two are too noisy to cover golf. Yeah, absolutely. 12-1. Ugh. I can't throw away $5. I've already made a bad wager. I'll just lay in it.
Like the Bears could come out and have a pick six and still be down 10 at half. It's not
Yeah.
like this is there's a lot of things that need to go wrong for the Packers for them to lose this game.
They're going to get the ball back.
Even then.
If I was drinking Eric, there would be a high chance that I'd be booted. I tend to be the loud and fun type. I guess that's what they call it. I don't know what an emo is. An emu?
What's the difference, Dylan? There's not much else to do up here.
Big Rye drinks more than I do right now. You guys can believe that.
I got a problem.
He's got a real Radler fix. Ooh. You know what you remind me of? If anyone's seen the sketch, it's a Kids in the Hall. Girl drink drunk. It's where a guy's an alcoholic because he got hooked on girl drinks. So he's like these giant fish bowls with like full on umbrellas in them and stuff. He'd never had a drink in his life, and then he goes to a business meeting, and he gets like a huge pineapple drink. It's just one of my favorite skets.
Good one, Dylan. Usually if I go to a restaurant and I want to have a drink, I ask them, like, what's the lightest drink you have on the menu? And when they tell me what it is, I go, okay, but lighter. And then when they tell me the next one, I say, oh, yeah, but lighter. Let's go light here. I'm not trying to shave my chest every time I have a drink. My vagina is just fine.
Yeah, like in the movie Airplane. I haven't seen Airplane in forever. And don't call me Shirley. Hey, there's a Canadian, Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah. I'm going to grab myself a snack while we wait. Who knows? Maybe I'll even grab a drink.
Oh, there's a new Spider-Man game. Looks like he's not Peter Parker anymore. Looks like he's changed ethnically. Okay. It's new to me, I guess. As you should, Jackson. It's one of the fantastic movie. I can't even say my favorite joke on it. There's a certain pamphlet of a certain type of athletes. You know, the powers that be, they wouldn't like that too much. It's my favorite joke in the whole movie. Don't get saucy, Vernay. Jewish sports legends. Exactly. That is the one. I love that movie. I'm trying to think what's in there. What's in my top 5? Oh, I watch this one every time I'm upset about something or it's like a bunch of run bad. My girlfriend knows it's a good one to like. Don't Bother Me is when I put Ed Wood on. It's like that movie makes me laugh every time. and I think it's funny every time I see it. Ed Wood, the Tim Burton about movie from 1996 about the worst director of all time, makes me happy every time I watch it. I do this every week, which it oh, you've never seen it, Jackson? Oh, it's the greatest thing ever, and it's very like, I don't know, it's very clever in the way that it's overacted on purpose, so it's almost bizarre. It is an older version of Disaster Artist, exactly, and I would argue far better. Not that I hate on the Disaster Artist, it was fine. Do I do whichever? Do I gamble every week? Absolutely, Eric. I gamble every day, even. No, not just sports, poker too. So I've really only found to be a consistent winner in NFL betting as well as poker. So I enjoy the psychology of sports betting more than I do poker, but I've probably studied more poker than I can care to admit. I have a really interesting library which I'm cataloging right now. Just books all over the place. I got 15 going right now. I have a list of them over. So what do we? I'm rereading Thinking Fast, Thinking Slow, which is this book right here. And I'm reading a book on Bayes' theorem, the economics of sports betting, mental game of poker, no limit hold'em for advanced players, your worst poker enemy, play optimal poker, exploitative play in live poker, and then I bought a book on baseball as well. So, oh yeah, this show we do every week, absolutely. You follow along, Eric. You've been there. So we stream twice, which I don't really consider. I wouldn't consider that work at all. You guys make it not work. It's just hanging out, right? I spend the first half of the day in a group, pretty much a group of standard guys that bet on football, and I just try and listen to more or less I sit there and I sponge out. I try and understand their motives behind why they like certain ways. Problem is they're starting to come over to my domain. No, I wouldn't say I'm obsessed. I prefer, if I knew a better way of making money, I would do it, Eric. I got to be honest. I just don't. I really don't. I just try and be the best person I try and be the best decision maker I can be, and then let the results play themselves out. So a lot of that has to do with understanding where your leaks are. And leaks is a poker term, like things where you're weak at, i.e. you don't continuation bet enough, which is a poker term. But I think life leaks are more important than anything in any sort of game. Yeah. I don't mind anymore. People, I'm not gonna say stupid people. People that like entertainment will do anything to keep themselves entertained, and some of that means gambling poorly. I don't hate the books. I mean, they've been kind to me for many, many, many years, right? I think what they do is borderline dishonorable, but I don't mind being a part of that same hypocrisy. So I sound like Michael Corleone there. You and I are part of the same hypocrisy. Yeah, they can say what they want about the virus. Lock me up. APND, how you doing, sir? Alfa Romeo is coming back? I can't imagine that's a well-built car. They haven't made Alfa Romeos in a long time. Am I wrong? My friend Pat used to have one. He got it for his 16th birthday. Needless to say, it didn't work out well. Let's put it that way. Yeah. His family was like the Bluth family. They were very, very wealthy, and then they became broke by the time high school ended. So, Yeah, I remember taking his driver on car was this Audi A4, and we used to. There's a hill. It's one of the steepest hills in North America, I would say, and it's much like San Francisco. If you were on a big bus, you wouldn't be able to go up it because the grade would just have you leveled out on it. And they close it in the winter because it's too steep. So because even if it's a little frosty, anyways, we went like a buck 20, 120 kilometers. It's probably like 65 miles an hour off this, and we got like probably 4 or 5 feet of air. Just blew out all the shocks. Anyways, that's my Pat story. Have you guys tried betting on college games? I have followed people on college games. I've never made a concerted wager. Well, I wouldn't say that. I haven't put enough effort in to make it a consistent thing. I used to bet on college probably 12 years ago, but I wouldn't say I was profitable, right? And I hadn't put in the time that I had in NFL. And I think everything's kind of switching to those, right? Like we're getting close to like there's diminishing returns now on NFL football. Could we be better? Absolutely. But the amount of work we would have to do to get better is considerable, I would say, and it would be a really marginal gain. Whereas the other sports we're more interested in now because we have a blank slate, right? So we could turn profitable, I think, fairly quickly. Especially Big Rye is a voracious data collector. He's very consistent in what he does in life. I'm not, so that's why it creates a good partnership. And he's been holding on to a lot of data, and it requires both of us to parse through it. So we put a little bit of a session in some UFC stuff yesterday, and we're probably going to continue throughout the summer with college and stuff. And that'll be part of our membership. Is we're just when we work on stuff, we'll just stream it, jump in, chat, and just because we've noticed everyone who's joined the membership, like most of them aren't really just searching for picks. They have ideas. Do you know what I mean? And ideas, even if they're wrong, can at least put you in a trajectory to be, I guess, peeling the onion. Do you know what I mean? Like, what about this? What about that? Because you want to find opportunities all the time. So Big Ryan and I like to set up our data sheets so that they're manipulatable, even when things change, trends change, that you can kind of, because that's the thing about beating the book is it's like whack-a-mole. Once there's an opportunity that's exploited, they just close it up. But then usually to pander to square markets, they offer something, and then that's another point of exploitability. Fat guy, would you leave football alone if you were much better in basketball? Yeah, I wouldn't gamble. I don't need to gamble. It makes no difference to me. I don't get a rush from it. It doesn't do anything realistically. If it's positive expected value, I do it. Even if that means there's also a meta game to that too. For instance, in poker, sometimes it's good to keep relationships. So because the best games are live games. So if you take a negative EV spot that is positive EV in the future, that is okay too. But as a whole, I just don't. I wouldn't play cards if I wasn't profitable of it. Yeah, absolutely. I don't even know what entertains me. The entertainment part for me is having good ideas like you guys have and chatting about them and making me think. Thinking, that sounds odd, but thinking for me about possibilities and exploitable situations, that's entertaining to me. The game itself, I mean, it can be, but you'll see me. I don't usually get jacked. I've been trying to be a little more high energy the last few Monday nights, and they have been, but yeah, it usually doesn't do it for me. Once in a while, a football game, and oddly enough, World Cup soccer. If Greece is in it, I really get into that one. That's probably the only time, probably because of the specialness of it. That's not even a word.
What's going on, Indy?
Item. I've made a couple of small bets here and there, similar logic to what I learned from you guys, and I've done quite well. Yeah. I don't imagine that it is that much. It's too dissimilar than what we already do, realistically. And remember I said I watch with a group of friends in the first half of the Sunday. One of them does use very similar logic in college, and he's been a winner 2 years in a row. I don't know if his sample is where I would like it to make a conclusion on it, but I'm interested in it. Indy is hoping that the Bears could have put on a better performance. That's everybody here. Realistically, I can't think of someone who doesn't have actual money on the Bears in this chat group. I joked that we moved the line, but who knows what some of these people are betting, right? None of us, I don't think, are the 100K guy who's definitely sweating his wager right now. Bears do get the ball back, though. I went on a big rant here. Holy. I think I can move things around to make it a stream Thursday to cup it up. He's eating, apparently.
Hell yeah.
For a small man, he does eat a considerable amount.
I would have been like 6'3" if it wasn't for Osgood Slatters.
He made an entire pizza while I ranted.
Well, at least we know it's made with love.
I like making your own pizza. I'm really tempted to get one of those rock boxes. Anyone seen those guys from Gosney or whatever? Like the thing that gets like 800 degrees.
Where do you get this?
It's on the internet. There's you leave it on like a table kind of. It takes like an hour to get going, but it gets really, really, really hot. I don't know. I just feel like I eat enough of those small pizzas that would be a reasonable investment, but I can't pull the trigger just yet. I started making my own. I use olive oil instead of a sauce a lot of the time, and that's good enough for me. It's that Greek flavor, I guess. Nice. I feel like Mooney is up there for the Bears as far as skill position players. I've seen him make more plays than Robinson, probably because he gets less attention from the defense, but it's still interesting. Yeah, I it just feels like recency bias item, but I've noticed him get open and make reasonable plays. Who's another receiver's a bit like that? Travis Fulgham this year.
Eric, for us, it's a game that has contrarian value if the line moves in your favor, as well as if there's more public or more sharp money on a contrarian than not. You'll hear me call it like a 3-unit play when I do talk about different things, and
It's rare.
it is rare. I can't think of even one in the last 5 or 6 weeks. I think the last one was the first Washington-Dallas game.
Yeah. You also liked the Giants in their first game against Philly, the Thursday nighter. That was a big one for you.
Eric, I'm just looking at like every market factor as far as if there's contrarian style, where the line moves, and where the sharp money is. So if all three of those things line up, for me, it's a 3-unit play. But it's very, very rare.
Mickey's pointing out the Bears-Bucks game. Yeah, that was a big one too. Yeah, I really like that game. It's hard to say item. Probably 15%. I would guess 18% in that range.
It's hard to say because every year we go in with a different bankroll. So
and point of attack too.
yeah,
Like we've specialized in certain areas because honestly, a lot of stuff that we've done has been for experiment purposes too, right? Like, which was figuring out, like, I don't know, let's just say 15%, but it's been difficult, or it's been not difficult, ever changing. Let's say. No, sharp money is a discrepancy between volume and money on a team. So, for instance, if 70% of people are betting, let's say Seattle on Monday night, but Seattle only has 30% of the money, that means that 30% is betting significantly more than that 70%, which would indicate that that limited amount of people have put up a lot more money. And tends to be there are whales that will bet on, let's say, Philadelphia, but by and large they're not able to make up that much of a market size. So that means that generally speaking, in that situation, it would be pros against Joes, and the book doesn't care because they probably are balanced. You know what I mean? Like they're not balanced completely, but they will be able to get balanced. So yeah, but don't forget it's capped item. Like if we ran a fund with $1 billion, you'd never be able to do any of this stuff, right? Like you're only able to make 15% on a modest amount of money, right? So probably less than the most you could have in your bankroll is 2 million, I'd say. And we're not there, that's for sure. So because all of that's capped, all of it. Well, your unit sizing would be so big that you would probably impact the market. You know what I mean? Like maybe a little more, maybe 3 million. It's because think about it, you're probably going to start betting. You could be betting 10,000 a game. You're 10 dime better. There are very few of those in the world, just so you know. So there's two. I know of two of them in the city I live, oddly enough, and they're possible of moving markets. One of them sent me a picture of the Super Bowl. What was it? When Seattle played Denver, and he was literally waiting in line with a bag of money, like I think 200 grand. And there were lineups of guys just like him from all over North America. And they were waiting for the price to move to Seattle plus 3.5. And every time they did, a new one in line went in, plunk his money down, move the line back down. So what would happen is you would be too influential in your market and it would be too difficult. So because like the sharp that you're looking out to back would be you. Do you know what I mean? Mickey Hill's got a great question. Why are Tarico and Dungy calling the game?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
Maybe there was some travel concerns with who was going to do it, or maybe they're doing the Baltimore Steelers game. And then Mickey, for a 3-unit play, I'm looking for contrarian play, so closer to 30%. That's the money percentage to be greater, and for a reverse line movement as well. Yep, we know Billy Walters.
Oh, Billy Walters, legendary, right? So it's a very interesting guy. There's been guys like that. They're like I said, once you have a bankroll that size item, you become Billy Walters, right? And Billy Walters, I think he grew his bankroll organically, right? And there's a big difference between guys that have grown their bankroll through blood, sweat, and tears and effort and luck too, then got to guys that have just, they had a lot of money and they started gambling. It's a big example. Like, there's a good example in poker, for instance, cash game players that have their money based on playing cash games and accumulate over years tend to just eat up guys that played one tournament and got lucky and happened to win a huge amount. It happens all the time. I listened to, there's a show called High Stakes Poker from about 10 years ago. And the youngest ever champion was Peter Eastgate from Denmark. He's about 23 and he won like 11 million bucks, and he played on this show. And they only showed certain highlights, but one of the old grinders, Barry Greenstein, talked about being up $1 million on that guy in just that one session. So it's very It's because Peter Eastgate was completely outmatched in experience, um, uh, experience not only in amount of hands played in the strategy, but also in playing for that type of money, right? Whereas Barry has just done it for so many years, right? You could argue that some of the internet guys, because they play more hands, but anyways, long story short is people that grow organically are going to be really, really strong, rather than someone who gets lucky, say winning some sort of super contest or hitting a giant parlay, for instance.
We've thought about it, item, but we're not big enough to impact it at all. There's a potential over time we could, but as of now, I'd say we have very
chance.
Little impact.
There are guys, though, I would say, though, like, for instance, like Colin Cowherd they brought up. Look, I think that's affected Dylan's. And the Dylan's probably, maybe not him himself, but those guys are typically $50 bettors. And I can only imagine that there's probably 2 or 3% of his audience actually bets, and they probably follow him. And that would be considerable enough. That's why I still believe in what we do and contrarian theory, because think about people like Colin Cowherd just not understanding gambling pricing and stuff, and because they have to say stuff that people like, right? And people don't like, take Jacksonville plus 7.5 against the Browns. It's just not it's not a fun thing to say. That's probably why we've stunted our own growth by being honest. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it hurts if he comes out and says the Bears are going to do awesome tonight, and then the Bears lose like this, it hurts his credibility to the average fan. So
yes.
Like they can't even be sharp. Like if they are sharp and they're wrong, people are just going to dismiss them really fast. I think we've probably scared away a lot of people with a lot of our picks, and especially on weeks where those picks don't hit. But I do find that when we do hit, people are like, holy shit, these guys are right.
But however, though, we never say, we never go like this is a 100% lock. We make a point of not using that language because they don't exist, right? And it just wouldn't be prudent. So it's very I don't know. We've taken the long hard way because it was even hard to get me to even talk about it. And it was even harder to get me on camera. These were all Big Rise ideas. He was just taking conversations that we would have in private about gambling and putting on the internet. And then here we are, right? But we both have almost a fiduciary duty to be honest about everything. And we'll tell you, we don't know everything. We don't, and no one does. No one's peeling the onion that hard that they've really found everything. There are more projects than there are time for two human beings. I can tell you that right now. So, oh yeah, and going back to, he said that Jackson said that Billy Walters had a huge security apparatus to keep his bet safe. That makes sense. I remember him burning his trash, stuff like that. Well, they also do something called steam maneuvers. My dad used to do this in horse racing. They would my dad and his they have in pari mutual betting in Canada on horse racing, they have a $200 bet maximum where you can cancel. So what he would do if he really liked a race or if he knew the results of a race, he would bet $200, him and my uncles, on all the horses they didn't like. And then it would create this artificial market because they would do it hours before. Because most of the sports betting market is only at about 1% more than 2 hours before a race. So then people would see this big change in odds on the screen compared to their program, and then they would follow those thinking there was a hot tip. And then him and my uncles would cancel all their bets and then bet on the guy they actually liked. So it's, a little sneaky. I guess that's where I get it from. My father is a little sharp in that way. But yeah, so I can only imagine that Billy Walters was doing that all the time, paying the juice on those on small plays to create an artificial market for himself to fade. We had a great day today, Brett. We really did. It was nice. It was quite nice, actually. Items watch Colin sometimes for entertainment. Sometimes he actually makes some contrarian picks. Absolutely, there's going to be some crossover, right? He's not going to be pure square, but it's hard. It's in poker they call it the acceptance of losers. people would rather lose fashionably than win ugly almost. And oh my goodness, Trubisky. At least he got it. And I kind of feel that's way because a lot of these games are ugly. Like this Bears game looks like a black eye. And it's courageous to take a bunch of games like this one and hope that
Have
it's
a good
going to
night,
work
Jackson.
out over a long run.
Brett, we went 3-1, good for 4 units today. A couple multi-unit plays that hit.
Okay, yeah. Jackson pretty much said what I did. So sorry, I glossed over. My own yammering got in the way of attention. Good night, Jackson. Have a good one, Chief. That's more one of my questions. I'm positive that Mike Postle cheated AP&D, and I think that it sets a really bad precedent for poker as a whole if he's not prosecuted and the money isn't returned. That's pretty much the short of it, and I pretty much think that anything's a lie that comes out of him. Yeah. Mickey. Me and Big Rye's mom, oddly enough, showed Big Rye and I that a few years ago, and we both watched it. It was an interesting piece. So I thought it was the one thing that was interesting was trying to figure out what was show and what wasn't, but because he gave away a little bit, but not too much. Just one, Brett. Not looking good. I gotta go to the restroom. I'll be back momentarily.
Yeah, Mickey, we did watch it. It was interesting. And it definitely opened my eyes about manipulating the market. So it was something that I can't remember if I learned it from that, but it definitely like stood in my head as far as how markets can work. Only 1 unit, Brett, on the Bears. I wasn't even going to make a play. Like, it wasn't a market play. It was a play because literally every commentator picked the Packers as well as America. So have a good night, Don. Does YouTube give us any money prior to the membership for your ratings? Yeah, we had the videos. Some of our videos are monetized. So if you get an ad before or during or after, we would get some of the money from that. Not a lot, though. Yeah, Denver was my only loss today. Well, it kind of was a market play, Indy, but they kept moving this line around, and it got up to 10. So when it got up to 10, there's a lot of people that bought back on the Bears. So like the line moved all week to make sure this wasn't like they were taking too much action on either side. They just wanted to get the juice, and that's what they've done. No, Mickey. I think if an ad pops up for you, even if you skip it, technically we get paid. But I've never fully understood how it works. But it's so minuscule. Like in fact, I mentioned my mom. My mom will like put our videos up all day and try to watch as many ads as she can to help us out, which I always think is funny because I think we get like, I think you get like $7, like anywhere from $5 to $10 for every 1,000 views, like that. It depends on your market. So we have one of the more what's the word I'm looking for? Like the male market from 18 to 55 pays a lot more than some other markets. Like you'll see, like sometimes you'll have like a kids channel, and a kids channel will have ads on it, but like those people making ads will only make like $1 per every 1,000 views they get. Whereas because we're talking like sports and gambling, and it's guys stuff, and guys usually have some income to pay for things, we do okay in the retrospect of like YouTube and how it works ad wise. Skip all the ads. Who cares about that? Honestly, if you guys want to support us, the best thing you can do is sign up for the membership. And it is $5 a month Canadian, which I'm guessing is less than a unit for most people. And we're really peeling back the onion. And behind the scenes, the Fat Guy and I have started working even harder on some of the stuff that we do. So we're excited. Not only with some of the content we've been putting out, but the Discord is awesome, and some of the other stuff we've been working on behind the scenes is I'm excited to release hopefully soon. Yeah, Matt Nagy has done a very poor job with this team. There's no magic number for payment. Big play for Packers here. Looks like a touchdown. That's going to put them up 23, barring an extra point. Josh Allen looking strong in the standings. Where are you at? 8-4. That's pretty good. Tied for 9th in the top 10. There's nothing to be ashamed of there, Josh. Congrats on the strong week. So 24-point lead for the Packers. One of Dylan Toddfield's favorite players there. Robert Tonyan with the touchdown. What's the total right now? 44. The unfortunately the OU is 59.5 on the live line. To me, one of the crazier things, we were talking about the YouTube ad stuff, is for the live stream, I usually turn on ads just in case if someone pops it on, an ad will play. And the YouTube flags our videos for limited suitability for ads during a live stream. So I have to actually go in and request someone from YouTube to go watch the video. So I have no clue how they decide on, like, there's no way someone's watching our live stream for 3.5 hours to decide if it's should be monetized, but apparently that's what they need you to do. But I always find it funny because, like, once a live stream is done, who's going to rewatch this? It's pretty rare. You know, if you're not here live, you're probably not watching it again later on. Holy smokes, Brett. Well, it's looking really strong right now.
How did I bungle this? What a goober. I feel like a 16-year-old trying to get a bra off.
That's a good way of saying it.
It's like the easiest mechanism, and it took years for us to figure it out. You just go like this. Pinch in, move this finger in a little, and then you let go. Done. I am now. It took 10 years. 26. It took. Still didn't know what I was doing. Fumbling around like an idiot.
Well, luckily for me, I got to practice on myself for 2 to 3 years before I actually had to take one off.
There you go.
But hey, you can't help your mom go bra shopping every weekend, right, guys?
That's right. Oh. 34. Who scored? Like on Green Bay?
Tanyan.
It was a passing touchdown again? Oh.
I'm not a huge fan of Trubisky.
I think he's really bad in comparison. But what are you going to do?
In comparison to what?
The standard? Did he catch that?
Nope. The one thing I was going to talk about this earlier with Trubisky is that I do feel like this Chicago O-line is very, very poor. So I don't
They're
think
having a
it's
far better game than they did against Minnesota, oddly enough.
Oh, way better. But I think that he might be playing in a little bit of tougher circumstances than a lot of other quarterbacks. But he's also hasn't made them, like, he hasn't done stuff that's made you confident in his abilities going forward. So I got a feeling he'll be in a quarterback battle next year, depending on who the Bears bring in, but I have a feeling they're going to be trying to bring in somebody else next year.
Bears got a 1920s offense, yeah. Not wrong. He should have been cut if not for his draft slot. That's debatable, but I think that's possible. You know, maybe even probable, because it's like admitting error. But I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. Really good decision makers aren't afraid to admit mistakes very early. So I feel like New England's really good at that. So Mickey Hill might be right, though, that a good coach could have turned the tide. So with Trubisky, I mean, there are some underlying talents to him. I just think there's too much missing.
Well, is this his third year or is this his fourth year?
I think it's his fifth year. They didn't. Oh, did they not renegotiate? I don't know, because they denied his fifth year. They must have. It's his fourth then. So 2016 draft.
And Nagy's been there for 3 years. So Trubisky came in without Nagy. Brett says 2017 draft. So
yeah, he's right. He's right.
So this is his fourth year. Am I right saying Nagy's only been here? This is Nagy's third year, or is this his fourth year?
Third.
So who is Trubisky's coach his rookie season?
Great question.
I'm going to be back. I need to wash my hands and I need to search some stuff up.
Wow, what's going on there? They find
Just
your secret hard
snacks
drive
I've
there,
been
bud? John Fox. That was it. No, Buckner. I think you overvalue injuries, Brett. I got to be honest here. I don't think Hicks might move at 1 point. That's it. So I mean, if it works for you, great. But I know positional values, and they're not that much, right? Like Buckner is a great player. I don't think he's gonna move the needle that far.
The Bears don't have a chance. Don't have a chance on offense with this offensive line. So that's first and foremost. But a quarterback change, like, I think Foles is fine. Like, if you have a proper O-line, I actually think Nick Foles is more than fine as a starter. But with this offensive line and Nick Foles, like, limited like agility or whatever you want to call it, his maneuverability and outside of the pocket, like, is just not there. So it's like such a disaster that these two. I just don't think I want Trubisky back if I'm a Bears fan. And, like, you don't need a lot from, like, this defense has the potential to be really good if you have the right offense to support it. And right now the Bears, like, they just bleed on defense because they have to play so much. I like what Indy says, that Trubisky needs structure. He doesn't process the whole field. He doesn't show the flashes a young quarterback should after a decent sample. And, like, if he's played
That's
4
completely
years now,
fair.
like, 4 years is enough to tell. I think Trubisky slots in as a nice backup quarterback, and I think he could stay in the league quite a bit longer, but I just don't think he should be a starter. But who knows? It's kind of like Mickey said, with the right coach, though, he might be a little bit better. You know, it might take a year or two with a better coach. Like, could Andy Reid get more out of Trubisky? Probably.
Absolutely.
But obviously there's no need to. It's also the thing, too, is that if Trubisky's contract didn't get renewed and the Bears let him go, there's a chance, like, a team like the Patriots could pick him up. Like,
Yep.
I think the Patriots would be a better team right now if Trubisky is at quarterback than Cam Newton.
I disagree, but I don't think it's a huge. I think the difference is pretty negligible. I think Cam adds some toughness, but that could be coached up. I'm funny how I said Cam is adding some toughness, but I
Well,
mean I've seen him.
Cam's just bigger, and he can do like the quarterback design run type of stuff. But
Yeah,
like they
yeah,
haven't
and that's what I care about.
they've been kind of even shying away from that. And like Newton is clearly having trouble throwing the ball. Like I think he had 70 yards passing today. It was pretty poor.
In a win.
But I also think that Belichick could get more, or like McDaniels could get more out of Trubisky than a lot of other places could. But the reason why I say all that is because there's a chance that Trubisky could get signed for like $1 or $2 million.
Yeah.
And at that price, is it that bad for a team to take a chance on him? I don't think so.
No.
But if he's going to get like 8 to 10 million to be a starter or backup somewhere, I think you're making a mistake. Because why not just draft a guy? I think you could get the same amount of production out of a third round pick at quarterback than you could out of what Trubisky gives you now. So yeah, Indy agrees. He says even in the Green Bay offense or with Sean Payton, Frank Reich as well.
Yeah.
Dylan Roberts calling it, says lots of sour Raiders bettors this week. There might be opportunity to take the Raiders next week.
Yeah.
The Raiders are just gonna it's a cliche thing. They're just gonna throw that game out and move forward.
Yeah, that's exactly what'll happen.
It's a bad performance. They happen.
Whoa!
You're not gonna win many. You're not gonna win many games if you let teams just run straight up the gut on you for touchdowns like that.
Yeah, that's right.
What should the Eagles do? Well, the Eagles the Eagles are still in the hunt for the playoffs, but like Super Bowl is just it's so rare.
It's like 1%.
Yeah, and even now it's like 0.25%. Like it's bad.
No, it's like 1% now. It's because don't forget it's 1 in 32, right? Usually everyone has a 3% all things equal, but
I think it's 1% if they make I'm not going to talk about percentages because Fat Guy is right here. I'm talking in hyperbole. Hurts has to play. Like Hurts has to play the rest of the year to see what they have. And he's probably going to get more time than that. And the Eagles also have to figure out how to get healthy guys that can play offensive line because right now it's just not good. The other thing too is like Wentz holds onto the ball really long. I haven't seen Hurts. Is it Hearns play or Hurts?
Jalen Hurts.
Hurts. I haven't seen Hurts play that much, but I got a feeling he's not going to be like a guy that's getting the ball out really quickly. He seems like more of an athlete than a quarterback. And I got a feeling that's going to be bad news too, even if he plays. As far as like offensive line quarterback play from that offense.
Brett, 3 injuries aren't game changing, but they are a big factor, Fat Guy. Yeah, I mean they're a factor. Just when you calculate positional importance, like Big Ryan, I used to have we used to use a calculator more or less, a formula. They're not. Just very rarely does anybody outside of quarterback really affect the game.
Here's a good one. How many
I
games
go ahead.
do you think the Panthers have won with Christian McCaffrey healthy this year? I'll give you a clue. He's played 3 games.
See you, Jay. Have a good one.
Any answer, fat guy? How many wins do you think
0.
Carolina has? You're right.
0.
They're 0-3. How many wins do they have without him?
4.
Something like that.
Yeah.
3 or 4.
That should have been
I think
5
they're 3
today.
and 5. So they're 3 and 5 without him.
It's 4. And you know, that's really rudimentary though. But I don't think public ignores injuries any at all. I feel the contrary. I feel like the public overestimates injuries to a point where they inflate lines, right? Because there's something called Ewing theory. It's from the best sports bettor of all time, Hurlbus Vulgaris. It's about how you end up doing better almost when you take away some of the star power, for instance, and that's probably because you get softer lines. That's what I feel like, anyways. But I'm not bagging you. If it works, if you found a consistent way to make money, I'm never gonna hate on it. I always use my experience as a dubious sticking point, right? So if you can do it, right on you. I haven't found the same success using any of those types of metrics. Ravens are +10 now. Oh, geez. Now, Mickey does have a point. Cluster injuries are factors. Yeah, like when you lose a whole O-line, that happened even once this year. Dallas at Washington, the first game that they played. That was a cluster injury on the offensive line against probably the most stout and talented D-line in the league, rather. And there you go. In the league where they play, they got absolutely annihilated, right? Sample of 1, but that would be a cluster injury where I feel that it did make sense. And I guess, you know what? Cluster injury at quarterback, Denver Broncos. I mean, those types of things, yeah, but any one player, I'm not so sure.
It is important, though, to be following injuries if you're handicapping games. But following injuries and, like, what the fat guy's saying is you have to be very, very realistic with how important a player is to a team winning. Like, it's very, very, it's usually very small. There are a few positions. And one thing that him and I did in the past was use contracts. Like, you can tell where teams actually value players by the contracts they give out.
Well, the amount of money they dedicate to the position as a whole.
Yeah. So it's like you can have the best fullback in the league and you could pay a guy $5 million and he might be important to you, but that if he's out, do you care if a fullback's not playing? But to that team, it might mean a lot more than we realize.
Well, let's use a real, because there is a guy that would fit that exact thing. Kyle Juszczyk.
And I think most people, if they know Juszczyk is out, could care less. I don't think that's going to make any difference to anybody's opinion. And Indy brings up another good point. He says people pay good money to follow injuries and factor those in. If we get info, it's usually too late. So I
tend to agree with that. I really like that comment. And again, I'm not hating. If you consistently win, I love it. I love it. I love winners. I love people beating the book because it's so difficult. But I maybe you're on run good. Just be careful. Be careful because a lot of times there's a false flags where you think you found this gold mine and then it just isn't that, you know.
And that's why that brings us to the next point about being disciplined with your bankroll and discipline with your money management and your unit sizes. Because like any of these things, like even the fat guy and I have had instances in the past where we've learned that like we found something that this is hitting really well and we're gonna start making bigger bets, and then like that's when you start getting burned because sometimes it's too good to be true. And those
it
things
is.
just don't last.
There was a year Big Ryan and I were smashing, and he made the executive decision to up our unit sizing. Not both and I being in our novice stages, not realizing that we were just experiencing run good, and then we lost all our profits pretty much, like going forward, despite having an incredible year ATS, incredible, right?
And that goes back to like that return on investment. Like the return on investment is really hard to track when, like, we've had years where our unit sizes are, 30 times like bigger than other years. With bad bankroll management and poor unit sizing and changing unit sizes, like it really is a way to burn holes in your pockets really, really fast.
Really fast. And we only say this stuff because we want you guys to win. Like that's why we're doing this. So we want people to make good decisions.
And even like we've heard, there's a few of you today that have come in and said like they made Item made 40 units. I think Brett, you might have had one that was like a 5 or 6 unit play, and like to us, 1 unit is 1% of your bankroll, and you should never be betting 6 to 40% of your bankroll on anything.
It just even if you were really, 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 really good, it's too risky.
Yeah,
it just is, and that's the thing though, is easy come, easy go, and I did hear a term, house money, and it's a term I detest more than anything, because that money is yours. You earned it, whether through getting lucky or what have you. But I just don't like seeing go up in smoke, because I've done it too many times myself when I was younger. That was a lesson I didn't have to learn as many times as others. But yeah, it's difficult to make money long term in this game. It really, really is. And you can have a year where some exploitative thing you find works all year, and next year it's completely covered up and you get killed on it. That's just the nature of the game. Yeah, even that's kind of big, I feel like. So yeah, you got to be careful, and there should be very, very well, I mean, you could have a unit. Your unit sizing 6% is too much, because there's something called risk of ruin. So there's a really interesting idea called Kelly criterion, which I feel is too aggressive. So what Kelly criterion does is you calculate your advantage, and then you bet according to that calculation. So the advantage is also your edge. The problem with that is, how do you know how much of an advantage you have, right? Unless you have thousands and thousands of bets under very similar parameters, right? You don't. So it's estimated. So it's what we call perceived edge. So your perceived edge is naturally optimistic. So it's better to be pessimistic. So there's something called half Kelly criterion, which means take your perceived edge, cut it in half, and bet that amount. So for instance, a good rule of thumb would be 1%. That means, are you 1% better than the sports book at betting on Lions? That's realistic, and that's possible. The answer is probably no, because it's very, very difficult, but it is possible. Therefore, you bet 1% because your perceived edge is, well, you could say it's 2% that you cut it in half using half Kelly, but that's a reasonable outlook. Saying that you have a 6% edge in something, that's tough. Because think about a day trader, what they would kill for to have a 6% advantage.
It's hard to make 6% return per day on anything in life ever.
Yeah, sorry we sound so pessimistic, guys, but this is just really, really, really important. So okay, that was one of the funniest things I've read in a long time. I have a Raiders winter cap with the 100-year NFL logo on the back. Nice flex. It's a nice hat. Yeah, exactly, Brett. We don't want you to lose. And if you're on a run, Brett, maybe you can do this. Take time, take a moment, try and educate yourself with certain like bankroll management things, because that's the thing about this. We have a really good example. The best UFC better, the best better at a sport I know of is a friend of ours that bets on UFC. He bets parlays like an idiot. He knows it's bad bankroll management. He's a very smart guy, but he likes the entertainment factor of it. The three of us put money in on a bankroll, and we managed to get 100% return using conservative methods and run bad over a year because of how exploitable UFC was. He decided that thought we weren't aggressive enough, and he took all his money out and he lost it in less than a month. And Big Ryan and I held on to ours because it didn't mean anything to us to gamble on it. And that's a guy who is batting at an ungodly number in UFC. And it's just one of those things. You can be as good as they get, but if you can't, if you don't have good bankroll management, you're going to lose. There's just no way around it. You're going to go broke. And it sucks. It sucks. I don't want it. I don't want anyone to go broke that's in this game. I want you to prosper. I want the book to hurt. But that's the nature of it. I turned my head and Chicago's driving. Not that it matters. Touchdown. I think parlays are bad as a whole. All parlays. Yeah. Okay. Good. Thank you. Yeah. If you knew how many stories I've gotten, because in my town or our area, it's not much. It's a city. Everyone asks me for gambling advice, and the amount of times I've heard parlay, the most in particular. Oh, I was one away. I had 11 out of 12. I've heard that more than I've ever heard of anyone winning. I can tell you that much.
Yeah. Every bettor I've ever talked to should have won
$4,000. Yeah.
And it's funny because not a lot of them, but some of them, if they bet with proper unit sizing, would be at least break even.
Yeah.
Oh, and Keno, Golden Panda knows.
Golden Panda. Well, Golden Panda is Golden Panda is a certain somebody, Big Ryan, in real life that can drink a beer very fast.
I know who Golden Panda is. That's why I know he knows what Keno.
He knows what Keno is.
I'm sure he's heard you or I talk about Keno at the bar once or twice.
That might be the best like linear comparison I've seen. Because how many times in Keno? I mean, I hang around bars a lot, but I was one number away. How many times are you one number away? Oh, you couldn't believe it. I was one number away from 500 or 1,500. It's just amazing. It's the same garbage over and over. Keno charges way worse juice, though. Okay, we got two great comments about stupid brothers. My brother does 18 parlays. It makes me sick to my stomach. Yeah, would too. You know what you should do? You should you should literally make your brother give you $10. You give him back $1, and then you keep $9 in some sort of investment type thing and show them the return. Like, they still don't get it. They want the big home run. Golden Panda, you should hear my brother. Yeah, exactly. I was one away. AP&E 1,000,000 times. Yankees money line screwed me.
That's an awesome line.
Absolutely.
Zid,
I've heard that.
Keno is unreal. At least in Canada. In British Columbia, Keno, the odds are unreal. Like, I want to look it up to see if I can find it because it's insane.
Well, okay. Well, I can tell you some of the odds off by heart. If you have 80 numbers and they pick 20, the odds of hitting 2 numbers is 17-1, but it only pays out in this province 9-1. So sometimes I'll frequent the bar and I will offer people 11 or 12-1. And they think they're getting a good price, and I'm loving it. I'm making 5/17s.
I found it. Okay. This is it just blows my mind. This is so insane. But
it's the worst.
You on a $1 bet in Keno, if you pick 10 numbers and get all 10 right, it's 1 in 8,911,000 chance, and you win $200,000.
Yeah, you're getting ripped off 8.7 million. It's unbelievable.
So 1 in 9 million chance to win $200,000.
It's not quite linear because there are consolation prizes if you get 9 and what have you. But you're getting, I don't even know what the rake is on that. It's such an insurmountably bogus number. Oh, this is the best part. If people play bonus, you can play bonus. This is where we live, British Columbia. The max they'll pay out is 200,000. So if you hit 10 numbers and it was 10-1, that should pay 2 million. But they'll negate the bonus. So, and the bonus is an extra $1. This is just fantastic.
My condolences, Steve. Sorry to hear about your loss today on the Raiders.
Holy jeez, that's a lot of cake. And Dylan's right. The guy that bet 100K on Bears Moneyline needs to hear this talk about bankroll management right now. Yes, unless he has maybe 100 million in the bank, maybe more than that. Maybe you don't want to leave it in the bank, but maybe he's got a net valuation of $1 billion, he can bet 100 grand. He's allowed. I don't know that guy. I know one person of similar wealth, and you'd be hard pressed to get him to bet $1 on anything. Golden Pen. I thought about betting the Falcons last night. Well, we were on the Falcons GP, and it worked out nicely today. I didn't think the Falcons blow was coming. I just like I like the chances. We generally bet on Pinnacle, generally. I would love access to some of those New Jersey books, but it's not possible. Oh, you went to Caesars? Yeah. I think it was a bit of A, bit of B. I think a variance for sure for that type of blowout, for sure. But I do think that this was a big gaffe from the Raiders, big time. Poor performances in particular from Derek Carr, but it's hard to naturally generate a result that lopsided. So there's some high variance involved as well. A lot of people did bet the Raiders, that's for sure.
Fat Guy, you going to be available to live stream the Tuesday night game?
Yes. Yeah, I was pissed that they didn't refund. That's pretty bad. Usually books will throw you a bone in that spot. Any advice for parlay bettors? Please don't do it. That's really all I can do is until you understand what. Okay, all right. If you want something more, there's a book called Sharp Sports Betting by Stanford Wong, and he explains in that book when it's possible to find a positive EV parlay, and it's very rare. It's very, very, very rare. So generally don't do them unless you understand the math behind them. And how could you understand the math behind them? The book I just suggested is a good reference.
Here it is.
There it
on
is.
Kindle, you can get it for $9.99.
There you go. That $9.99, if you're a $10 a week sports bettor for the rest of your life, probably save you, let's say, 10 grand. All you have to do is $10 and a few hours of your time. You really got to understand, though.
Yeah, I don't blame you, Steve. I don't know if you heard all the bankroll management stuff, but we always suggest only spending 1% of your bankroll. So if you started out with 300K, you shouldn't have been doing anything more than 3,000 on a game. But that's what'll happen if you're not managing the bankroll properly. It can disappear real quick.
Yeah.
Josh Allen says cup up. Brett says my brother just won't stop parlay, so I'm trying to at least give him good advice. All you can do, Brett, is give people advice, but at the end of the day, they're going to do what they want, and whether they want to listen or not it's up to them. But not everyone can be sharp, and not everyone should be betting sports. And if you're just sitting on parlays all day, then you're probably not doing it for the right reasons.
Well, there's also this. You could challenge your brother to be, you could challenge him to be proficient, more or less, right? Like that's how how I really started loving this stuff. Is I started losing, and I just hated losing. Just you're competitive, you know what I mean? Challenge him, explain to him why that you can show a better rate of return than he can. That's because that's how I started. I hated losing so much. I hated, and I started working for my family, working at a pub, and there was a lot of gambling going on, and I couldn't figure out why I always did poorly, and so I had enough, and here we are.
That's the thing, Steve, is that you end up getting overconfident because you are continually winning. So you have to manage your expectations and prepare for losses. Because
and Zip said it best, you don't know your win rate, right? Like you need a really sufficient sample with things that have very similar parameters.
So Steve, at plus 191, if you got that early, that's just bad luck, because it's a good decision and it's a bad result. But that's just, those are the breaks. Like if you're betting that much of your bankroll, no matter what your bankroll is, like it only takes a few losses and then you're done.
Yep.
I think tomorrow's game will be bad, meaning both primetime games this week. Blue, it's possible, Josh. Just shake hands after games like Brady. That's some advice.
I can be rich this year, Steve. What about next year?
Yeah, the Bucks at least came back and got a push, or they covered it, depending on the line you got. If Bears backdoor, I quit betting.
It's possible. I like tomorrow's game, actually, Josh. I really do. I didn't see the whole Chiefs Bucks game. I like the Eagles tomorrow. There is also Tuesday night football.
Yeah, there is Tuesday night zaps.
I'm not going to 100% Tuesday because I might want to get some work in. So might be a good time to do both.
The Eagles are now at 6. Yeah, we'll see what that line closes at. We'll be live streaming tomorrow night for sure. So we'll see what the market sits at just before kickoff.
It's a very contrarian play. I think that Eagles are one of the most liked teams by pros just because of the money distribution, and Seahawks is a more public team. So you get, and the recent results of the Seahawks in comparison to the Eagles have been contrary. I mean, even though the Eagles did lose to 2 weeks ago to the Rams, and I can't recall if they lost last week, but they have been more successful of recent, and I think there's more public money going to be on the Seattle Seahawks. There'll be more on the less money on public money on the Eagles, more pro money. That's enough for me. I don't mean this game in particular. I mean this this year. Oh, it doesn't absolutely. I like the Eagles, but I like them by 3%. Do you know what I mean? Does it feel natural, Indy, to have both of those? Yes. Yes, it does. It feel natural? Yes, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen. It could be square, Pack and then Eagles. It's very possible. They haven't been doing very well the squares as of late. It'd almost be better from oh geez, Cole Kmet. It almost like there's almost some. It's almost good when they win some of the time, right? And tomorrow they're going to be on the Seahawks. I want to get Eagles +7. And I think the Eagles game is a +3.5 game. I really do. They've underperformed so much. Yeah, they've played awful. Josh, they played awful. No, you're allowed to yell. It's okay. That one's like a 2-uniter, Dylan. That's what it feels like.
The
But
market's
don't
2 units right now, but so much can change between now and then.
I think you can get a better price. I'd be willing to put even more. This is one of the games I like more for the year, but don't call it a lock. Like a lock for me is there's a 5%, like a 54% chance. Do you know what I mean? That's still you're going to lose 46% of the time, maybe 45, but so don't quote me on that. I don't like the touting aspect of it, right? So Russell Wilson torches the Eagles. Every team is different, including this Seattle one. So I don't think it's fair to say that. And how many games have they played against the Eagles? I think they lost the year the Eagles were the number 1 seed. I'm pretty sure the Eagles beat Russell Wilson, or he came back. It was a very close game. So the sample couldn't be any more than 4, really, between the two, Russell Wilson, and so that's not really an indicator, in my opinion. Every team's different, too. I don't like those past results when they do that. Oh, so-and-so team hasn't won that many games in Joe Louis Arena. You know what I mean? Like to give it a hockey reference, that doesn't mean anything. Eagles D seems depleted under Jim Schwartz. Yeah, they've had some injuries, no doubt. I think the more telling injuries for them would be the ones along the offensive line for the Eagles, because it was once stout and now it's struggling. Jason Peters had to play left tackle, and now they're moving to him to guard, I believe. So bagels and locks. I like bagels and locks. I could go for some right now. That sounds great. Yeah, those are very fancified terms. Locks. Every lock there is a key. That's an old Cam Stewart, Gabe Morency thing, and I agree with it. We don't have. There's no cheesesteaks around here. I'm Canadian. I could make one, I guess. I make a mean steak though. I use that French butter method. I think the butter it's called Amoisette. The brown butter, because you don't want to scorch it. So you have to kind of you sear the steak and you bake it just a little bit, and then you finish it off like the last 30 degrees or so in butter basting. Yeah, there you go. Golden Pan is also fat. You should see Golden Panda and I in the front of an Altima. It really, really sets the suspension way down. Especially with a bag of burgers. Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's just a given.
It is a given.
Man, if Trubisky only got to play against soft zones all game, he'd be great.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the Brownies, they're okay. I don't like them laying points. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I would have liked if the Brownies were -3, I would have happily taken them. But -7, come on. It's just could they have won? Sure, by more than 7, absolutely. But it's just too many points. Just is. Could I be mistaken? Maybe almost undervaluing the Browns, perhaps. But their 8-3 record with a negative point differential isn't blowing my socks off or my hair back.
Man, more Ultima references.
What are the odds for a 4-team parlay? I don't know them offhand. I've never bet a parlay.
It depends at a book. Like all the books are different, so
that book we
likely.
referenced is going to have a chart for all of them, right? And they're going to rip you off like 11% per game, roughly. It does depend on the teams and the type of bet, absolutely. A spread bet is going to pay, yikes, 1/2 to the power of 4 minus 11% roughly. Wow.
It's 6.25% or something like that. 6% chance of hitting.
Well, in 14 parlay, it'd be 1/2 to the power of 4. 2, 4, 8, 16. 8%.
6.25.
6.25. There you go. No problem. What about teasers? Well, it depends, right? Like, okay, there's super. I just learned of this today. A 4-team super teaser will pay -130. So they'll spot you. I think it's 10 points off of any line, and if you hit all 4 games, which is insane, they'll pay you -130. So 130 to earn you 100, which is hilarious to me. So teasers are even worse. There are 6.2 teams. That's probably a bit better. There used to be something called a Wong teaser, where the teaser would go over key numbers, because not all teasers are the same. So in close games, the points are worth more. However, though, that's been and it would pay the same odds when it shouldn't. However, that largely doesn't exist anymore. So I couldn't say what it pays off the top of my head, but I can say that at one time there was a loophole. There just isn't one that I know of now.
What's wild to me is that the average team wins by 10.5 points. And I don't think a lot of people think that. Like, I think if you asked a lot of people, they would be way off on that number. So even like the teasers don't really make sense, because just the variance in scores can be, they can differ a lot more than people realize.
Yes.
Because there's like, even an underdog, let's say the underdog's up 6 with 30 seconds left. Like, there's no reason they can't get a pick 6 or a fumble touchdown and screw everything up. Like, there's just so many things that can happen in a football game in those last 2 minutes, even in 1-score games. So like, the teasers are especially dangerous, I find. The biggest thing though is that no matter what you're doing, as long as you're adding points or if you're doing something else, you're getting worse odds. That's just how it works with any book.
It's like buying insurance a lot. So Zaps nails it. 6-point teasers that get through the key numbers of 3, 6, and 7 or plus EV. Yeah, those are Wong teasers. Those are actually outlined in that book that I had referenced.
But I don't know if that's true, because it's like the books build that into the line. So if it's passing over those key numbers, like, it's built into the line already. So I highly doubt that would even be the case.
No. What he's talking about is for standardized ones. They are. What I mean by standardized ones, where like they pay the same price as other like large teasers. or sorry, other standard teasers. So there is a way to. It's called a Wong teaser, but those are usually only offered on like cards. Do you know what I mean? Not on a website, because a website would have dynamic odds that would have it built in. On those cards that they make, you know what I mean? They hand out at bars and stuff, or in like small casinos in Vegas. That those ones are plus EV, and he is right. They're called Wong teasers, but to even find those opportunities is few and far between.
Uh, I don't think Tom Brady's washed up. I just think that he's like, it's just the game's kind of passing him by, and I don't think he's washed up. But I think just the success in this league is partly being able to move around as a quarterback and make throws. Like Brady can still get it done. It's just he has less path to victory, like less amount of paths to victory than I think some other players do.
I don't like it. I don't like Brady in this offense. I'm surprised. I thought it was going to be a nice marriage. I didn't think they would be the problem. I thought the skill position players would be subpar and some other facets of the defense, but it's I don't know. It might becoming apparent that it's possible that there is some issues. There's a lot of missed throws and opportunities I don't really remember him doing. We do usually predict future records. I don't like we didn't do it for this year. We favored the under, let's put it that way, for the Bucks. So I think the over under was 10, and I think we like the under.
Because of how because there wasn't a preseason, Josh, it made any betting at the start of the year a little bit more difficult than usual. So we stayed away. We shied away from making future bets.
There's a lot to gain, there's a dearth of knowledge in those preseason games, oddly enough.
Oddly enough, 2 years ago I had the Bucks doing well because of their defense, but the defense managed to be like one of the worst in the league.
It's funny
at the time, and they've made a couple changes, but not a lot. And all of a sudden, the defense is a little bit better now that the offense isn't as turnover prone as it was before.
Nice job from the Pack today. They smashed the Bears, like so much so that we haven't even been watching the game because it's so bad.
I don't think Tua is going to be back, but that I'm basing that off of nothing.
That's about as honest as you can get. Packers are still going for it. Okay, well, that's fine. You gotta stay in bounds, bud.
Yeah, it's not very good, Jake. So that could be.
What are the odds on that? I'm gonna say almost 1,000 to 1. It's probably never happened. So yeah, that sounds about right. Got to pad Rogers' stats. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Rogers has a Rogers MVP ticket in his pocket. Absolutely. Sanders versus Godare and Ravens DST. I swear I have the same thing. There he goes. Itvono with a with an update. 41-20 has only happened twice in NFL history according to Scorigami. I'm gonna stick with my odds set of 1,000-1 twice in one weekend. And I don't know if he's including the one that happened earlier. It's early to say, Dylan, but it's not looking as good as one would have thought. What a generic saying. Go, Pack, go.
Well, the first down ends this game. Not that this game is really still any doubt. There's the first down. That's game.
Going to be an early one, yeah. I got some stuff to do, actually, so this is quite nice.
We've got the market video to do.
Absolutely.
Or the opening line video for anyone that has the membership. Yep. Opening lines are a very, very good opportunity to get the most meat on the bone as far as next week's games are concerned.
It's going to be out. We're going to shoot it. Let's just shoot it right now, Big Rye. What do you think?
Yeah, we'll catch you guys later. You guys have a good night. And we will see you guys tomorrow night for the Monday Night Football stream.
Yeah, we're just going to shoot a membership video just to give everyone a heads up.